Good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everybody today? Welcome to Sewing Street with me, Vicky. It's been ages. Do you know what? I haven't been here for absolutely ages. Feels so lovely to be back, especially, oh my word, look at the gorgeous colours we've got around us. We've got so much planned for you today. We've got a brand new guest who is, well, I say joining us, kind of like virtually. She sent in a video, which is really exciting. So Jules is going to be, you'll meet Jules at 9 o'clock. We've got loads and loads to bring you, starting as always with an early bird. And do you know what? I'm going to go as far as saying I think this is my favourite ever early bird. I've been waiting for these pens to come in, which is so exciting. Brand new today. We're going to get everybody involved, get children involved as well. And of course, as always, with an early bird saving and a big saving at this as well. It is a special price today, £18.98. It's the only way of getting the fabric pens is in the early bird special today. So let me show you what you're getting. Now this is an exclusive panel to us. We know how many people are going to love this, whether you're getting children involved, whether you want to put one in your window maybe, or make bags, cushions. There's so many options with the panel. Less than £20. What a gorgeous project to be getting on with. So of course the rainbow's very, 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 very popular indeed. I've just I saw online and I've ordered this picture that says you can't have a rainbow without a bit of rain. And you could even write that on it, or you could write a little slogan or some sort of quote, couldn't you, on these as well? But look at the detail and plenty of space to be able to make it your own. So all of this in the panel, a really lovely big panel, and plenty of pens to colour in as well. So not only do you get the panel in the early bird special, the only way of getting the colouring pens, the fabric marking pens, is in the early bird, is today in the early bird. And what I love about these is that you don't actually even need to set these with an iron. So you leave them to dry for about 12 hours and then they will be permanent. So, great for with the panel, but also obviously you're getting loads of colours here. So have a look, it's suggesting on the reverse of the packet, you can do trainers, T-shirts, all sorts, caps, bags, anything that you want to use with fabric. These markers are going to be brilliant. And as I say, you don't even need to fix it with an iron. £18.98, and look at the beautiful rainbow colours as well. Your green, you've got yellow, orange and red, pinks and purples, blues, your browns and blacks. That is every colour that you're going to need for all sorts of projects, isn't it? They are then completely washable. So if you've left them to dry, I think it suggests, all the instructions are on the back, at least 12 hours. So leave it overnight, and then if you're washing it, then you will still be able to wash it and your colours will still be there, which is brilliant. So should we have do a bit of colouring? I know that Hayley's been very, very busy, who's our marketing manager. She's done the most beautiful project. We all like to share our projects, and she's been loving doing the colouring in. This is it. I think at the start we all think of it as almost children's projects, but quite often actually, especially over the last few months, I've been seeing these amazing the colouring in books that we have as adults. Joe, you've got quite into colouring in. He's been doing it on an app actually, but to be able to have something that is so relevant as well today with rainbows, I think these are lovely ideas to get everybody quite a bit of mindfulness, I think, in colouring. And you don't need to be an artist. I know Hannah, my producer, is upstairs. She's got a fine art degree. You don't need to have a fine art degree to have a go at this. I'm awful at colouring in, but these are really simple shapes. Don't worry, don't need your degree, Hannah, for this one. She says, I never need my degree at any time. Please, can I just have this one? Should we have a look at the Facebook page? If you are going to Sewing Street TV on Facebook, you're keeping the loop of everything that's going on. But our marketing manager, Hayley, has put this picture on. It looks so gorgeous, doesn't it? So bright. I like that she's been doing it out in the sunshine, out in the garden. You can't do all of your crafts outside. It's sometimes a bit difficult, isn't it, to take all your sewing machine and everything all out with you. But it's nice to be able to do a nice project out in the sunshine as well. You've got a beautiful range of colours. And because the shapes, you've got this really lovely fine nib on the point that you can get into. Oh gosh, I'm going to be all quiet now because I'm concentrating. All the nooks and crannies. Oh, yeah, true. In fact, do you know what I would do? It hasn't gone through, but I would just be aware. Put it on something. Just put it on a mat, or I've got the cutting mat underneath me. Put it on a piece of card or something, just in case you go through onto your table. It's all right. Hannah's saying, sorry, I disrupted your colouring, but I was thinking it was going to bleed through. Remember, they will then dry for 12 hours. A quarter of the stock's already gone. It's the only way of getting these brand new pens today. It is brand new. There's a lovely range of colours. There is a lovely, lovely range of colours. I'm going to get another one now. Let's go pink. Thank you. Did you go very close? Be careful going too close. Are you checking up that I'm keeping in the lines? Oh, do you know what? This is going to keep me quiet. This is me for the next 3 hours. Do you know what I'm going to be doing when we're looking at Jules' demonstration? I'm also going to be doing some colouring, and I'll show you my end result. Makes everything individual, doesn't it, as well? It's lovely to be able to get children involved, get the family involved. Everybody could have their own panel, and then at the end of the day, everybody compares and has a look. And you could make it into... You could even make it into like a memory quilt, couldn't you, of the lockdown? Or you could put them in cushions or placemats. These are nice size, actually, as little placemats, aren't they? You could put like, you know, the odour coat or something over the top then later on. And that would be brilliant for a placemat that you could then wipe it as well. But they are washable, even though once you've coloured it, once you've left it for the 12 hours, they then are washable as well. Oh, I love them. This is so good. The panel, by the way, is completely exclusive to us. The panel is printed especially for us. So you can't get this panel anywhere else, which I think at the moment, I was actually looking on at a couple of different craft options for rainbow projects. And this is really good in price as well, to be able to get it less than £20, something for everybody. And something that then you're going to be able to use again. These pens are, you're not just going to use the pens up, obviously, with this panel. So then have a look around at what else you want to colour in. Brilliant. So just to remind you, you're not only getting this one, the good size bits. You're not just getting one small panel. Remember, you're also getting your larger rainbow with the lovely stars. And then you're also getting this one with all of the dots and dashes. I like that one as well. See, you could really make that different, couldn't you? You could colour between all of these different crosshatch pieces. Just £18.98. Remember, it is an early bird special. Remember, you are getting blue, pinks, you've got purples there. Where have I put all my pens? You've got black. Great for outlines on other projects as well. Your browns. These are going to be lovely for making banners. I think ever since I've seen the Wilcox birthday banner that I had on my birthday show behind me, and he said that's a banner that has come out every single year from probably 2000 for the last 20 years. That banner's come out. I like the idea of having your very own banner for birthdays. Or what about for bunting? This would be lovely as well. Or for personalising bags. I know a lot of Hannah's at the moment planning another hen do for one that had been postponed. You could personalise all sorts really quickly and easily. I know that we love, you know, like the Cricut machine and different ways of personalising things, or embroidering, but I mean, we don't all have an embroidery machine, or we don't all have a Cricut machine, and it's quite expensive to personalise things if you want to, you know, get them sent off and printed out, whereas this makes it still permanent. Or what about for, you know, school uniform tags or quilting labels, things like that as well. My mom was, I know she'll probably be watching, so I don't actually want to say this, but she wasn't very good at sewing my name on the front of my PE kit. Oh, sorry, Mum. So these would have been ideal just to be able to write them in a permanent fabric marker. Hannah's saying that, you know, christenings and weddings, she says, I've seen that people make like a plain white teddy bear. Oh, and people can sign it as a gift. So you could make like a calico teddy, and instead of like a guest book, you can have like a guest book teddy, and these would be really nice to just sign then, because let me show you the nib on these. A baby shower, and then they go on the shelf afterwards. That would be really nice. Maybe, I mean, my sister-in-law just had a baby and I had to do her a virtual baby shower. Maybe everybody could sign it and you could send it. That'd be really nice. Can you see that it's got a really nice chunky nib, but then it's also got that extra fine tip. So you can get really into those fine details, but also it isn't going to take you ages and ages and ages. That is a really good quality pen. And that's coming from somebody, by the way, with a fine art degree. I knew your fine art degree would come in handy somewhere, Hannah. Just to recognise a good quality pen nib. £18.98. Just to remind you, there's so many more who have checked out. Well done. So if you do want the pens, the only way of getting them today is in the early bird, and they are brand new today, a great array of colour. And just to remind you, all the instructions are on the back. Ideal for t-shirts, backpacks, tote bags, caps, visors. It's saying sneakers. What about, yeah, like your pumps? That would be brilliant. See, I've got a pair of pumps now that I'm ready to throw out, to be honest. They need to go, but actually I might just have a go at making something fun with them, personalising them. That's really fun. What I was going to say is that's the only way of being able to get the pens, but if you do want the panel on its own, we can offer you the panel on its own. Now, it won't have my colouring in. I know that would be worth a lot of money. I'm sorry, it won't have my colouring in on. But today it's £6.99. It's a brand new special price. And remember, that's for all 3 of those designs, which are lovely, aren't they? I mean, even if you were to sort of fussy cut on this side, you don't need to necessarily use them all in one project. What about for EPP? You could cut out hexes, couldn't you? We've got it at that special price in case you've got more than one person in your family that want to do the colouring. Because I quite like this as a bit of a competition between family members. Everybody could have a panel, have a go at colouring in, and see which is your favourite. Put them all in your windows. It's lovely, isn't it? Special price, makes it fair for you to be able to multi-buy. £6.99. It is 100% cotton. It's machine washable. Just remember, if you are using the fabric markers that we've seen today, as I know some of the markers we've seen in the past are ones that you iron to fix the colour. This one, the fabric markers, you leave for 12 hours and then you will be able to wash it and the colours will still be there. It's just £6.99. Then it'd be really lovely blocks in a quilt maybe. So if you want to multi-buy and make a rainbow quilt, they'd be lovely. That'd be amazing. Just £6.99. Right. Whilst everybody is checking out, remember you've opened your order today. If you're brand new to us, welcome to the crazy family. We've got loads going on today, loads and loads. But if you've already bought the early bird and you've checked out, don't go anywhere, still stay with us, because if you buy something else, you're only going to pay 1 postage and packaging, which is £3.95 all day long, even if you're involved in our machine show later on at 10 o'clock. So even if you buy a machine, it's still capped at £3.95 all day long. Even if you come back 8 o'clock tonight and search on the web for something, you'll still only pay 1p&p. If you do want to shop with us on the website, then it's www.sewingstreet.com. If you go to our web shop, there's all of the products from today's show that will be listed underneath us, where you can watch live on the go. You can subscribe to our newsletter as well and see all the products. There's also a categories section, so if you have got something particular in mind, whether you want to go to books or fabrics, then you can find that really, really easily. Also, you can speak to our customer service team. So if you are shopping with us maybe for the first time today, you're unsure on creating an account, it is really easy to do so on the web, but I know sometimes you prefer to speak to somebody. I'm like that. I've been trying to sort out flights from a holiday that I'm going on to, and you know, they say you can go online and do it, and I think I just want to speak to somebody. I'll just speak to somebody. So if you just want to speak to somebody in our UK-based customer service team, they're literally down the road from us. They're lovely. Obviously, they're social distancing, so there's not as many people as normal in the customer service team. But of course, please do feel free to call us on our free phone line number to add anything to your basket. If you want to get in touch with us now, what I love about our show is that we're completely interactive. We are live, we are here in the Midlands. Yeah, we're here in the Midlands. Please do message in to our Facebook page and we can come and just say hello. I think now more than ever, it's really important we all stay in touch. And that's why I love, love, love the Facebook community, whether it be on our official fan page, or on our official Facebook page, or on our fan page, which is Sewing Street Fans. And everybody shares their makes. It's a lovely community. If you've got any questions, get them in and hopefully we can ask them on air. Even if you're not shopping with us, please come and say hello. Come say hello and chat to like-minded people. If you love crafting, you're in the right place. We've got something for everybody today. And yeah, there's lots of great demos on there as well. Now, where shall we start? I haven't been here for over a week. There's so many things that I know that you've seen with John and Debbie over the last week, and I've been saying, oh, please, Hannah, can we show it? Please, can we show it? Please, can we show it? We've also got... Is it the big board, this one? Yes, all right. Let's start with 100 embroidery skeins. This is gonna keep you going. Do you know, if you want to just do, I'm gonna hold my hands up and say, I am not Helen McCook. I'm not an embroiderer, but I do like to embellish. You know, I really like looking at a fabric that's got patterns on and embellishing over the top of it. And I think this is a really great way of just having all of the colours that are going to match up with your fabrics to be able to embellish. By all means, absolutely, you can get stitching and create gorgeous embroidery pieces. But I think at that price point, at that price, me, who is thinking, do you know what? I'm not necessarily an embroiderer and I wouldn't be spending as, a higher price on skeins. This is a brilliant way of having that stash. Because let's face it, it's when you've got a fabric, let's go for Tilda, for example. If you've got this blue and you're thinking, do you know, I really want to match this blue up. You've got so many different blues here that you're going to be able to find the right colour. Your greens, you're going to find the right colour. And we're at 14 pence a skein. We're at 14 pence a skein. I mean, that is, I've never ever seen that. I have never seen that. Bearing in mind, how many metres do you get on each skein? I'll tell you, you have, I think it is it 25? I think it might be 25 metres on each skein. But look at the array of colours you're getting. And they're really lovely quality cotton. They are 100% cotton. You've got your blacks, all of your neutral sort of colours, your lovely tans, your purples. This rainbow of colour again. You could do an embroidery rainbow, couldn't you? But just to be able to have all of these in your stash for $14.99. Sorry, there's 8 metres on each. I think the 25 might mean 25 years of making thread. I mean, I've only even just scratch the surface. Look at this. Oh, 800 metres of embroidery floss for less than £15. £15. Right, those of you that are starting a new craft, those of us that have really got into watching the show, maybe you've then, after the show, got some inspiration and thought, do you know what, I'm going to keep going on Pinterest and YouTube and I found lots of different things that I want to make, or want to do, or want to try. Starting a new hobby and starting a new skill can be really expensive. I've wanted to start baking and I've looked into getting all of these, you know, mixers and everything. I'm like, oh, it's just expensive. So I've got my wooden spoon at the moment. But having the right tools and the right products for the job really helps you get that professional finish. But I mean, to be able to have all of these colours and you still know that you're getting lovely quality cotton, but that price point is a no-brainer really. You can start a new hobby and start a new skill and have a huge array. At 14 pence a skein, you can't go wrong. Quite often, actually, I've seen beginner sort of bundles, and don't get me wrong, we've got smaller bundles. I say smaller bundles, there's still loads of colours in there, but I have seen where we've done in the past, say 8 skeins. 8 skeins together, which still goes a long way. But if you do want to know, look, I've got colours to go with all of the fabrics in my stash, it's $14.99. If you are a toy maker, these are absolutely ideal. Little details for faces or hair. These are going to be brilliant for that as well. Look, these are all lovely hair colours, aren't they? They're absolutely gorgeous. You've got so many. Some lovely neutrals as well. You've got some lovely lips, embroidered lips maybe as well. details on little ragdoll clothes, animals as well. The blues are gorgeous, the greens. What about, I actually picked out as my make of the week this week, this beautiful embroidery sort of field. It was like a meadow. It was gorgeous. If you want to do like lazy daisies and French knots with some of these greens mixing in with the yellows, it's going to look amazing. This is a great place to start. I mean, you might stick with these embroidery threads forever, or you might move on to different brands and try something different. We all do that. Do you know what? Those of you that are brand new to sewing, I wouldn't necessarily say to you, buy Aurifil straight away. Try out different threads, try it out. But then it is a really, really great place to sort of start. When you've got such an array of colours, you've got 100% cotton at 14 pence. I can't believe I'm saying that. 14 pence a skein. You can't go wrong. And if you've already bought the early bird, by the way, you've paid your postage and packaging. We're at £3.95 flat rate P&P all day long. These pinks are so gorgeous. I can just see little dolls' faces and lips like this. The skin tones are so pretty. £14.99. Haley's just text. Oh, sorry. I'm going to put them back in the packet nice and neatly, yeah. Ooh. Don't worry, I won't open the others. I just wanted to show you when you're saying, look, we're at 14 pence a skein. I would then probably, you know, one of those bags, the bee bags, something like this. I would have them all in a bag like that. Or we've got an embroidery floss box where, I think it was an early bird the other day, where you can wrap your floss around the little cards as well. I think you get 100 cards in there, so that's ideal for this actually. Oh, I wonder, have a look for that. Oh, look at that shot, Joe. It might be on the website, have a look. That's why you get paid the big bucks, Joe. That's like Hollywood, isn't it? Like a drone, and that was, wasn't it? £14.99. I wonder whether, right, I know, now this is a bit controversial to say because I know there is specific thread for it, but if you're starting out and you want to have a go at a bit of Sashiko, if you're starting out, this is cotton skein, have a go. Have a go. You've got so much for your money. 14 pence a skein for £14.99. All of your neutrals, your rainbows of colour. It would be quicker for me to say what colour isn't in here. You get 100 different colours. I like that. That's like the rose. That would go beautifully with the rose spot on that we have. £14.99. Okay, can we do something that... Are you doing a Debbie Shaw? You go in rogue, Hannah. She's doing something that she says, I'm not sure whether I'm supposed to do this, but let's have a look at the website. So, the top bar, can you please search embroidery? E-M-B, there you go. I'm pleased the search suggestions come up. Scroll down. Keep scrolling. There. Early bird, click on it. Hang on. Haley's watching. Right, if you want it, grab it now because that will go. That will go during the show. Because I told you last week, early birds are for one day only. Oh no, I knew that would happen. Right, okay. Shouldn't have done that, but just buy it. Make the most of it because that will be taken off. Hannah's now being told off. She's had a text saying shouldn't do that. Sorry. You got space to store 100. Why not? Why not? You're spending, you know, well, £14.99. It's just nice to know what colours you've got where, because I am that sort of person that would have them in a bag, rooting through. They'd all get in a tangle and they get in a mess. Whereas actually, I did see the early bird with John, and he was showing. I mean, it's all got its nice little compartments. You get 100 cards that you can wrap your skeins around and label with your colours as well. Keep your little labels because they're all numbered. So if you do know that you want to buy again, they've all got the different colours on there. So type in embroidery, you'll be able to find that storage box. Absolutely make the most of that. Did it say £6.99? I don't think there will be enough of those to go around. I think that must be really, really limited now. If you do want it, okay, if you do want it, I would take it during the live show because I've got a feeling after the show that will then go at £6.99. Well done everybody who manages to get these. If you got the, by the way, if you got the panel, There's nothing to say that you can't embroider over it instead. You could fill in the gaps with skeins, couldn't you? You could do some really lovely long, you know, like crawl work. You know when you do, I know that's with wool, but you know when crawl work's like those long stitches, am I right? Where you do those really lovely long stitches like that. Text in if you know if I'm getting the right technique. I'm not, as I said, I'm not an embroiderer, but I'm thinking you could do some beautiful stitches between and lazy day. You could do French knots between, would look really lovely. In between or on the raindrops would look lovely as well. So if you've got the panel, try it out. You could mix and match with your pens and embroidery skeins as well. Right, let me put these back really neatly. The others I'm not going to take out. Unless you ask me to make a mess. Go for it. Because our, yeah. First thing, the message from the managers straight away. Why is she taking them out? Right, now, I have got these. Oh, are these variegated? They're rainbow. So you get 8 metres, 36 skeins this time, and look at those colours. So when I'm talking about variegated, I might need to open them to show you what I mean. I might need to just open one. What I'll do is I'll just take one out and then I can put it back. Can I open this without making a mess? Sorry, rustling. No, I can't because it's stapled. Okay. Sorry, I'm opening one because I'm excited. It's only 8:30 and we're already getting really told off. So let me show you what a variegated strand is. So there you've got this lovely coral. If I pull this across, then can you see how it sort of ombres into another colour, which is really, really beautiful. Joe's just saying 1 second. It's just changing the cameras. So from the orange, if I pull that through my fingers, you can see how it changes colour and changes again. So if you're doing kind of a floral design, the petals could all start sort of changing colours across. There you go. It's really lovely and subtle as well. It is really lovely and subtle. It's the only variegated packet of skeins that we have, and it's £9.99. Again, secret. Go onto the website, search embroidery, and see if you can find something that would go perfectly. Early bird. It's supposed to have gone. It's an early bird special price still. And I mean, I told you that. I hold my hands up and say, yeah, that is an absolute mistake. They all should be there. But look, these blues are lovely as well. Look at the different colours you're going to get in that one. £9.99. For the sea, different colours of the sea, or the sky, clouds in the sky. £9.99. Gosh, it was blowing a gale yesterday, wasn't it? Is anybody else? Yesterday, I did have fear. We live right on top floor of a very old building, and I could hear my windows completely rattling, and I thought, is it possible for my windows to actually be blown through? I was really a bit concerned. Everything was just blowing. I went for a walk at Cannock Chase yesterday, which those of you know, we saw one of the trees just starting to fall. I was like, oh my word, this is a bit dangerous now, isn't it? Your local park was shut. I'm not surprised. It's quite dangerous, isn't it? Oh no. Look at these gorgeous variegated colours, your blues, your pinks, your purples, your greens, your corals, your silvers and greys, your greens, your blues. Thanks, Joe. £9.99. Do you want me to just quickly get the next one so you can check? Thank you. So 36, this one again, it's got 36, but this is your solid colours. At these prices, get the lot. If you can afford to do it, honestly, can you imagine then the selection of skeins you're going to have with the variegated in these? Remember, you're getting 36. So if you buy the variegated in these, you're still going to have enough cards in that storage box. Right, you're going woodland with these colours. Bit Lewis and Irene hedgehog fabrics. Absolutely. You can add little trees and little flowers. Do you know what I'm thinking? Look at these. So, now I'm fast forwarding a bit, but our kit that's coming up later on, our kit in the 9 o'clock show, we're doing a sewing machine mat, and the colours will look lovely with this. the yellows and the blues. Let me turn it over. You've got some lovely blues. That blue is going to be perfect with this as well. For just £9.99. Joe. Hang on. Right. Management, just close your eyes. Look away, Hayley. Look. Look. Do. Take it whilst you can. I am, now I've got into trouble, I might as well just make sure they all sell out. 36 skeins at £9.99. Brilliant value. Price per skein, very, very low. Right, how you find this? Go onto the web shop. We can't put the graphics on air today, but we're very excited because we're rule breakers. We're going rogue. We're just channeling our inner Debbie Shaw. Might actually get into trouble for this, but yeah, we're already in trouble, so we might as well go all the way. If you want this, type in sewingstreet.com, our website. Don't be scared, it says Jewelry Maker. We're using their landing page at the moment whilst our website's being built. That's where you can watch our live show. You can sign up to our newsletter, and anything from the live show, whilst it's available, will be underneath. Already people buying the glue pen, by the way. Eagle eyes are already snapping up the glue pen. If you go to the top and search embroidery, there you go. We had a little treat that shouldn't be there. Scroll down, keep scrolling, keep scrolling. There, it says early bird special. It wasn't today's early bird. Take advantage. Somebody hasn't taken that off the website, and it really should have been taken off the web. You also get, let me just very quickly show you. Do you get those skeins in there as well? I was about to take them out. You get 10 random colour DMC skeins, and look, you get these little cards. So you get these little cards, 100 of those cards. So if you did get the big bundle, you get 100 of those cards, so that's enough to do it. But it's all nice little compartments. I'm only doing this. That's hilarious. She said she's going to go now because she needs to mop the floor. So we're only doing this because we know Hayley isn't actually watching it this second. Our boss. It's fine. She's in the other room. She's mopping the kitchen. She's probably got a television in her kitchen and is watching. Eagle eyes are always watching us, you know, Hannah. But make the most of that because that will sell out. Thank you for that. Okay. Oh, sorry, cloud. Sunshine cloud. Oh, it doesn't. It won't stand like that. There you go. Okay. What have I got now? Sorry. Pastels. We've got our lovely pastels as well. So there's your variegated. There's your like woodland we're going with, and these are lovely pastel colours. Oh, see, toy making, I think this is the colourway to go for, because you've got lots of lovely sort of, well, great hair colours, lovely for lips and details, like little freckles. £9.99 for 36. What does that make our price per skein? Again, that is so good. 8 metres per skein. Remember, for the 100 one, it's 14 pence, which is phenomenal value for money. That's why I'd absolutely recommend getting the 100 one. If you do want the pastels, oh, still at an amazing price. We're less than 30 pence, 27 pence a skein, which is pretty amazing, isn't it? And I do love these colours. If you are doing, I'm thinking for like a baby's nursery. They're really lovely. They're very, should I say it, next at home. John Lewis, Marks and Spencer's, lovely colours. You could do like a wall hanging, couldn't you? £9.99. If you've got the alphabet panel that we have, you could make cushions, couldn't you? But if you want to do some hand embroidery over the top of it to make some of it 3D, to add a bit more texture. I always like, even if you always think of embroidery as like your embroidery hoop and your classic traditional ones, but actually if you've got some really beautiful fabric that you love, the patterns of, to add more texture and more depth to it, just by doing a few really simple embroidery stitches, which you can obviously see from our books, or if you have a look online, there's lots of great demonstrations. There's so much that you're going to be able to do with these. Just £9.99. Even if you've got, you know, like an old pair of dungarees, and you just want to do some flowers or collars on clothes, upcycling, you don't necessarily need to start a brand new project or think about a brand new project. Have a look at what you've already got. What about little bumblebees on your you know, like canvas shoes? They'd be lovely just to embroider on the top of them, because you know what? It's expensive when you start looking at embroidering over the top of things like this. You can pay a lot of money for storage boxes, but I mean, that flower, that would be a lovely motif on the side of a bag or on a cap or on a shoe or something. I mean, there's so much that you're going to be able to do just to start looking elsewhere and think, actually, do you know what? I can do those kind of things. When I was watching, is everybody still watching? Is everyone watching The Great British Sewing Bee? Oh, it's so good, isn't it? It is so good. I can't believe Mark's still, well, I can believe Mark's still there. The reason that I say that is because I met Mark early last year, and he's doing so well. It was nothing to do with sewing, which is weird, isn't it? It was actually a wedding fair. He was playing the piano and I was singing, and then we got chatting about sewing. And yeah, then he's appeared on the Great British Sewing Bee. He's amazing, and he's doing so well. He's doing so well. I don't know how far he gets, but I just every week I'm literally like, oh, is he staying? Is he staying? And he's doing just so well. He's brilliant. £9.99. 36 skeins, less than £10. I've had a lot of questions coming in about the quilt behind. This is one John made. Oh, isn't it gorgeous? Oh, it's from the book. It's from the Jelly Rolled Quilt Book, which is Pam and Nikki Lintott, and it's using the batiks, which work so well for this design, which I'll come to in a minute. But this book is absolutely gorgeous. Whenever we talk about Pam and Nikki Lintott, they are amazing at designing. They really are. The photography is gorgeous. They're absolute experts, especially when it comes to pre-cuts. When you're working with jelly rolls or design rolls, I'll always talk about Pam and Nikki Lintott. If you ever hear me talking about creative grid stripology, if you hear me talking about jelly rolls or design rolls or panels, I will always reference Pam and Nikki Lintott, which is strange, but it's because they're so famous, they're so renowned for making beautiful books using pre-cuts and working with some of the biggest names. So these are designed as well to be relatively quick makes, which when you're talking about big quilts, you think, oh my word, I'm investing 6 months of my life into doing this, or a year. This is gonna take a long time to do. Especially a quilt like this, I would be thinking that is just gonna take me so long, whereas actually these are 15 quick and easy quilt patterns that you can do in a weekend. This took John how many hours? Solid hours, don't get me wrong, and it is John, so I can imagine him just steaming through 10 hours. 10 hours. So, I mean, he hasn't done the quilting and the binding yet, but he hasn't done that yet. John. That wasn't me being rude. That was me just saying to anybody who's trying to finish quilting it in 10 hours is like, no way. That wasn't me just shaming John, going, no, he hasn't really finished it, actually. It's not a race. It's not a race. Sorry, John, if you're watching, love you. Okay, so let's have a look through some of the projects. Let me get myself out before I keep digging. There's such beautiful photography. You know me, I love my walking, so I like looking at photography like this. Do you know what? I am one for countryside now. Before, don't get me wrong, I always appreciated countryside, but nowhere near to the level that I have during this lockdown. My daily walks, I have thoroughly enjoyed finding new, beautiful place where I live. Just outside my door, there's amazing places. Right, so boardwalk, it talks about using strips and how to do a strip set, how to use your colour, placing, sashing and borders, step by step, very clear instructions with what you will need, talking to you about the design, and then look at how clear these instructions are. Step by step, so clear. This is why they are very famous for doing beautiful books like this. Skyline. We're very limited on this book. So a lot of people who are asking about this quilt, it is in the book. It's here, this is it. Your 9 patch starburst. It's 12 by 12 blocks. You will need 1 jelly roll or 42.5-inch strips. So only 1 jelly roll to make that. That's amazing, isn't it? Look at that. And then obviously your background fabric. Boom. That is gorgeous. It's that massive array of colour. It works so well with your, works really, really well with your, with the batiks that we've got coming up. Oh look, I wonder what sort of quilting John's going to do when he, you know, when he quilts it finally. Because he hasn't finished it. I don't know if I've mentioned, but he hasn't actually finished it. No, he's got a long arm quilting machine, so I'm sure he's going to do some beautiful quilting with it as well. It's because he hasn't seen Sylvia for so long, and he can't start doing that until he's back with Sylvia to do his binding. Oh, look at this one. £14.99, which makes it, dare I say it, very easy maths for me, £1 a project. £1 a pattern. Bearing in mind you can pay sort of £10 for a quilting pattern, can't you? Thank you, studio audience, for the round of applause. Hannah's upstairs, Joe's in the gallery, and I got a round of applause. Those of you that ever watch our sister channel, Jewellery Maker, I keep absolutely just getting, by our founder Steve Bennett, he was on air, and yeah, it's not very good doing maths on television. It's very difficult. But yeah, he completely sort of called me out on it, how poor my maths was. £14.99. So at the back, it's got all of your general techniques as well. So if somebody's brand new and picking this up for the first time, then you've got really great techniques. Love that book. Absolutely love it. Shall we do the rainbow? Barley pop, do 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 do. You may. Why have I never sang that before? You're singing a different song to me. They're singing barley pop, barley pop, barley pop. I'm singing barley pop, do 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 do. You make my heart go giddy up. That one. $39.99. I can't sing anymore because we have to pay royalties. We did get an email about that. Oh, yeah, did get told off for that. Right, 2.5 inch beautiful rainbow strips. They are gorgeous. And bearing in mind, right, so that instruction set called for 40. Yeah, you got 40 in here. So you would need one of those plus your backing fabric. This is the one on the wall that John's made. Almost made. He's used all of these lovely rainbows, and the great thing about is that you can mix and match, and you don't need to think too much about placements. They're all just going to work together, aren't they? They just work together really beautifully. But I mean, there's so many designs that call for 2.5 inch strips. Don't forget, with your 2.5 inch strips, you can cut, if you've got the stripology as well, it's really, really easy. And you place them onto your 60-degree diagonal, and you can just chop those into diamonds. If you cut your corners off, that makes it into hexes as well. So, I mean, from 2.5 inch strips, you can cut squares, diamonds, hexes, triangles, so much that you can do, obviously, with these. Brilliant to be able to have that array of colour. And remember, they are traditionally hand-dyed in barley. They're absolutely beautiful, and they go an awful long way. I know Wendy Orlando was shocked with how far this actually went. She made bags, cushions, table runners, all sorts with this. So if you've got your panel, if you're going to do a cushion front, I'm just thinking one of the big rainbows. So there's your cushion front. Let's have a bit of a play. Oh, there's your bag. Right, let me get my ones that are open before I get told off opening it. So if you start to then think about doing borders. So you could do like a patchwork background, couldn't you? Cut out your rainbow and applique it on, couldn't you? You could do just adding those colours in. This could be like the central panel in a block, couldn't it? Absolutely gorgeous. And I mean, there's so many colours here. You can pick out some of your favourite colours. Do you think that looks nice? Good idea, eh? So that's from, by the way, the panel is today's early bird special. With the pens, it's $18.98, or if you want the panel on its own, it's £6.99. But you can start to really play around with some of those rainbow colours with your batiks. Think about it not just as a panel, but also what you're going to be able to make with it afterwards. And it is such beautiful quality. It really is. And the reverse, well, is the same. There is a right or wrong, technically, but I can't sort of see it. Where are we going? What are you thinking, Joe? Foundation paper piecing. Gosh, look, he's getting very technical now. He says, I'd be doing foundation paper piecing. Or you could do, yeah, I mean, these are lovely. A wall hanging, cushions, so much that you could do. See that rainbow, you could cut that out and you could applique that straight onto what is already, you know, you could make a patchwork background like this, however you want to do it. And then, how do I get my rainbow? Cut that out, bonder web, you've seen me do a bonder web before, bonder web it on. I was wondering whether, I mean, it's up to you. It's up to you. There's so much that you're going to be able to do with the panel. I would definitely make the most of multi-buying that. It's only £6.99. And the rainbow barley pops look gorgeous with your panel. They would go perfectly. And that's going to go a really long way. I mean, I've got these in half. They're 112 wide. They're really great strips. Lots you're going to be able to do with those. Okay, so let's have a look at the other colours. Do you want to do the pastels? Pastels this time. Oh, again, completely sort of different look. If you've got your pastel skeins and you've got your barley pops and the panel, you're going to be able to do a really, really beautiful project with these. Really beautiful projects. Look at those. So, skeins are on the website, remember? Put that back. These ones, I'm imagining if you were to do like lovely yellows in here with your early bird. Sorry, I'm just doing some more colours. Oh yeah. So if you are colouring in, you could do a really lovely pastel rainbow, couldn't you? You could use like your pastel-y colours and then incorporate your lovely colours in your barley pop and your skeins. £39.95. Your friend's nursery is rainbow theme. Oh, I love that. Rainbow and weather. She didn't want to do it the sort of too much boys stuff, so she did it as a rainbow. Ah, I love that. She's mainly because she doesn't like really the boys stuff, so she did mainly the weather. That's a really good idea. That's a really lovely idea. These colours again, let's have a look. I'll show you the difference. If you are thinking of, you know, appliquing your rainbow onto a background of a quilt, or if you're thinking of doing a border around it once you've already done all your colouring, there's some really, really lovely colours in here. Different feel. Oh, but there's still some great sunset shades in here as well, aren't there? Did you get to Homebase yesterday or another gardening store? Because Hannah rang me first and I said, Hannah, I'm just on my walk, can I ring you back? And she says, I'm probably going to be in the garden centre. If not, I'll be in the garden because that's what I do now, a lot. She's doing lots of gardening. So what is it that you want to do next? Wanted to get some bits. So there's a local man that runs a local plant nursery. Because the hours that she works, she can't get in there at the moment. She says, I'm going to wait. And she says, I'm going to go and support him instead, actually. Oh, lovely. So what is it that you're going to get? Okay, she likes looking. The point that you were going to make, she says, I do need some bits for the house. Go on, long story. It's an essential shop. If you watched Gardener's World last night, there's a lady that bred irises. She said, these are really beautiful colours that remind her of that. We know absolutely what Hannah's Friday night entailed. Friday night, 28 years old, loving Gardener's World. There's nothing wrong with that, is there, everyone? Nothing wrong with that. What are you doing tonight? Saturday night. Probably Gardener's World on Catch Up or something similar, another gardener's programme. There's a Welsh who's just become like a YouTube sensation, who's a farmer doing lots of gardening as well. His wife filming him. Gardening is in, and he's really young. I think he's like the youngest, I don't know, youngest gardener ever, I was going to say. But it's a bit of a bold claim. But yeah, he's like the new Alan. I know no one can, no, that was a bit controversial, sorry. Okay. Let me remind you, this is still at the special price. If you do want it today, £6.99, special price on its own today. Remember, in the early bird with the pens as well for £6.99. Colour it in. absolutely gorgeous. Just £6.99. We also have, just wanted to give you a quick heads up on that one. We also have the rainbow bundle, or is it the strips? Let's do the strip panel. Right. We've got back by popular demand, and I must say we always get people asking for this, literally every single day. It's not very often that we get people requesting certain things, but every day we get requests for this. Every day we get asked, can we have any more of these? In fact, some of my friends who work in the crafting industry have been trying to get hold of rainbow fabrics, and they asked me. Yeah, they asked me whether there was any of our rainbow... Oh, I just ate that fabric then, sorry. If there was any of our rainbow bundles left. And I said, I don't know. And at the time, this one had sold out. So I'm really, really pleased that we've managed to get more. It's $12.99. $12.99. That was always $14.99. Wasn't it? Yeah? That was definitely $14.99. Hang on. You've definitely got the wrong price there. It says $14.99 on Hannah's list. It's definitely $14.99, just so you know. It is $14.99. I think on the web shop it is $14.99 as well. Sorry about that. £14.99 for all of your lovely ombre and your greens into your blues into your purple, which, by the way, at $14.99, it's amazing. The panels that we have that are exclusive to us, that are like this, 2.5 inch strips, they're extra wide, and normally our panels are $19.99. Bearing in mind, I mean, I love the Hoffman Barley Boutiques. They're £40. They're traditionally hand dyed, they're gorgeous quality, they're amazing. I'm absolutely no disrespect to them at all because they're brilliant. But this is what I'm saying, $19.99 is already a brilliant price. This today is a special price of £14.99. If you do go to our web shop, which is sewingstreet.com, HQU47, I think it is. Yeah, if you want to type in the item code number on our web shop, you'll be able to find them on there. There it is. Thank you. HQUU47. It's £14.99. See, we're talking a lot about rainbows, obvious reasons, but even just for your stash, look at your lovely blues. The sunset colours as well. It's really, really nice. There's so much that you're going to be able to do with this, especially as, let me hold it this way. Look at how wide they are. Traditionally, your quilting weight fabric is 112 wide. That's 140. Extra wide strips. I do like the idea. I know that Hannah had some great ideas of cutting these straight binding like this, or bias binding and having stripy binding. I do love like a scrappy binding, and that would just work instantly. Or pin tucking between the strips like that, and doing like bolster cushions or all sorts. You've probably seen Debbie Shaw doing demonstrations of how to do that. You've also got a really lovely, quite thick white line between each one. So if you do want to cut these into 2.5 inch strips, then it gives you a bit of wiggle room. We'll need a bit of wiggle room after lockdown, don't we? Oh my word. The amount of audio notes Hannah and I have exchanged and conversation have changed. I can't get into any of my summer clothes. It's so annoying. I don't have clothes anymore. And I must say, I've been walking loads and loads and loads, but I think it's because I'm actually gaining more muscle, my calves and my legs. It must be that. It's definitely not the amount of sweets and chocolate I've been eating. I think we're all in the same boat though. Please tell me we are. Because I need to know once we come out of lockdown, we've all put on a stone, everyone. I can't have it that people are coming out of lockdown saying, I got really active and I lost lots of weight. I'm like, oh. I will do. Right, so your panel is £14.99. Joe's been doing these Joe Wicks workouts. Oh, Joseph. Just £14.99. They're absolutely beautiful colours. And I like that you've got the spot as well, the detail. £14.99. So my husband Kieran, we're in the park and overheard a little girl that, well, Kieran heard it, I didn't really hear her, but apparently this little, like, she looked about 6 years old, went, oh, is that Joe Wicks? Is that Joe Wicks? It's my Kieran, so that's obviously gone to his head. He doesn't look anything like him other than his hair. He's got similar hair to him, long curly hair. Just $14.99. I'm so pleased that that is back. Make the most of it whilst you can. Brilliant. I've also got the charm pack panel. So if you want lots of different colours, in 5-inch squares for EPP. By the way, we've got so many products which we're going to be able to bring back later on because I haven't had a chance to do them all. If you want the Soline glue pen or any of the hexes, have a look on our web shop as well because they are available. This is exclusive to us. They are 5-inch squares, and I like the fact that you've got the spots, you've got the sort of like linen texture one, you've got the stripes. I like the zigzags as well. These are lovely spots. £14.99, whether you're choosing to cut these up or, do you know what you could even just do a cushion and quilt, do like a really lovely fancy stitch on your machine through here, and it looks almost like you've pieced it, doesn't it? You could do some really quick, easy sort of patchwork or stitch through them. It looks like you've got your half square triangles. Just £14.99, exclusive to us. You have 40 coordinating beautiful colours, rainbow colours, for less than £15. Now, we've got brand new guest this hour. Her name's George Mayouf, and I really hope I pronounced that correctly. But she's going to be telling us some great tips coming up. Don't go anywhere. We've got lots to bring you. Do make sure you're checking out your basket. Pop the kettle on, back with us in the next couple of minutes.
Hello and welcome. We love hearing from you, and we really hope that you can follow us on our social media platforms. We've got Instagram, which is @SewingStreet. We have Facebook. We've got 2 Facebook pages. One is the Sewing Street TV page, and the other one is Sewing Street Fans. All 3 of these are monitored all the time by our wonderful team, and if you want to message us on air, drop us a line on either of those 3 and we'll definitely be able to answer your questions that you may have. If you post on the actual wall, we can perhaps answer there. Otherwise, message us as well. That works really, really well. Thank you so much for being involved, and it's only because of this community that we're able to bring you all these different diverse products and to be able to answer your questions that you may have. Another way you can stay in touch with us is by signing up to our newsletter. These newsletters are sent out to you very regularly, and they include not only our guest profiles of upcoming guests, but also amazing shows that we've got coming up for you. And if you want to look at the amazing products before everybody else, that's the best way to do it. If you'd like to sign up and you haven't already, the link to follow is www.sewingstreet.com/sign up. You won't regret it. Thank you.
Shopping with us couldn't be easier. If you want to shop online, then you can head to our website, www.sewingstreet.com. It will redirect you to our sister channel Jewellery Makers landing page. Don't worry, you haven't gone to the wrong place. We're simply using their website temporarily while we're building our own web shop. Scroll down past the Watch Live part and you'll see all of the products that you will have seen on air on today's live show. You can also shop our catalogue by clicking a category, clicking a product to view closer, and adding it to your basket. Once you're ready to check out, you will need to create an account, which is absolutely free to do so, but it will mean that you can check out on as many orders as you want throughout the day with still only paying 1 postage and packaging. If you'd prefer to speak to somebody in our UK-based customer service team, then you can do so via the free telephone line number 0800 001 4433. They will not only help you create an account, but will also help you with any of your online shopping.
Hi, I'm Debbie, and I am so excited to be launching my latest book with you exclusively on Sewing Street this Monday morning. This is Sewing Secrets Quilting, and it's a techniques-based quilting book which is suitable for beginners. I think you're going to learn a lot. I'll take you through different types of jargon, the quilting techniques, and all of the things that you're going to learn from the tutorials in here you can take through to make 10 different projects. So we talk about binding, we talk about straight line quilting, quilt as you go, free motion embroidery, and again using all of these techniques to create not necessarily a huge quilt, quilts, but simple, achievable products using really professional techniques, so you're going to get a professional finish. So join me if you can here on Sewing Street exclusively on Monday morning for my launch. I can't wait to have your company. And remember, all of these are the kind of things that you can be making when you've learnt the techniques from the book. I'll see you on Monday.
Would you like to take part in our weekly competition? If you do, then all you have to do is head to the Sewing Street fan page group on Facebook. Post your picture of your make. Myself, Debbie Shaw, and John Cole Morgan love looking at all of your makes every week. We pick our favourite and announce the winner every Friday live on the show. Happy sewing and good luck. Hello, welcome back, Sewing Street, welcome back. Right, so when we first launched the show, when we launched the channel back in February on Valentine's Day, we obviously had huge plans for this sort of time over Mother's Day, Easter, the start of summer, to have lots and lots of guest designers in, doing lots of great demonstrations. And those of you that are brand new to us, that is a big plan for the future. As soon as we can, we will have, of course, guest designers in with us and doing lots of projects for you. So if you are brand new to sewing, still stay with us because you're going to learn so much. This is all about great community. Obviously, because of the unforeseen circumstances, you've just had to put up with me. At least you've had John and Debbie, who have been amazing at doing some brilliant demonstrations as you've been going. But we have started to see some demos from our guest designers at home. I think a few, Jane Greenough and a couple of people have been able to. Kerry was able to come in and do a demonstration when we weren't all here, so that was brilliant as well. But the plan is to get lots of brand new faces, lots of great guest designers, lots of experts with brilliant tips from beginners to, to absolute novices of sewing. You're going to be still learning something. So whether it be dressmaking, bag making, toy making, embroidery, whether it be quilting, we are going to make sure that we get all of those demonstrations to you as soon as we can. So today, I know that Jules will be watching. So hi, Jules. I can't wait to meet you properly in person. It will be so lovely. But Jules has sent in a video of a great make today, which we're all going to watch together in a moment. First, let me show you the bundles. So absolutely love this sewing machine mat. I know whenever we talk about whenever I talk to Debbie Shaw, she always says this is a brilliant first project to do, whether it be a sewing machine cover or a sewing machine mat. Quite often, especially as we're starting out, you might not have a dedicated craft room, and you might be sewing on the dining room table. It's really lovely to be able to have a mat that, one, protects your surface, but also means that your machine isn't going to be slipping and sliding all over the place. And I do find having a mat will always slightly reduce the noise of it as well. It's lovely. I love this project because, look, you've got little storage compartments here. You've got a storage tub. It's from one of the most popular, well, it's a brand new book, Annie's quilting books that we always do. The series of Annie's quilting are always really popular. I've never seen a book that has 20 projects though. 20 look at the price. I thought you said this was over £30, Hannah. Okay, just so you know, this should be over £30, but Hannah's decided to take this even lower for you today to make sure everybody can get it. It's the only way of getting the book today. We've maxed out the bundles because an amazing price. So £24.99, and in here you're getting 20 brilliant projects. I love this book because they're all great, useful projects that as a beginner, you can use them. So things like pin cushion, a pocket for your wonder clips and your scissors, things that you're going to use, maybe things that you want to gift for somebody. We can't see all our loved ones and friends at the moment. So what about just sending somebody a gift in the post to just to upcycle jars with things like this? Sewing machine cover, here we go. So all of your these are going to be brilliant to go with your mat, actually. Sewing machine cover, really handy to have if you've bought yourself a new sewing machine. And this is what we're making today. So Jules is going to talk us through, but it is complete sort of beginner friendly. It's got the size of the mat, but I suppose if you have got a larger machine, you can make it larger. Designed to make in a day. The great thing about Annie's quilting is that they're really broken down beautifully and the value for money is amazing. Even if you were to just get this book at £24.99, your price per project is fantastic. Look at your little spall pin cushion. Some really, really cute projects in here. It isn't the only thing that you get though in this bundle. Oh, look at these. Love the ladybird mug rug. I mean, there's loads and loads and loads in here. I could do with one of these. I always have a soup here and I always burn my fingers on the bowl. This is a microwave cozy, fresh bread bag. Lovely sort of sustainable things that we're all thinking more about recently, aren't we? Using reusable bags and reusable things for the microwave as well is ideal. So, 20 projects in your book. You're also going to get the fabrics. Now, in the bundle, you're going to get this lovely tan spot on. So you get 1/2 metre of that. You also get 1/2 metre of your red, which is lovely for your binding. You get 1/2 metre of red. Now, you can see it's a slightly lighter red on these samples, but you will get this red. That's the red that you're going to get with it. And you can see Jules has also just used some of her stash. You also do get 1/2 metre of the chicken fabric, this lovely duck egg chicken fabric. So you get 1/2 metre of that as well. So that would be enough to make your mat, your storage box, and I'm sure that there'll be fabric left over actually. But if you do want to dip into your stash, there was no point sort of us putting 1/2 metre of each of these prints because you'd pay, you know, more than necessary. I know that we've all probably got little squares. If you want to add that in, don't necessarily need to. You could just do it all one block colour. So you get 1/2 metre of your tan spot on, 1/2 metre red spot on. You get this red, which is that lovely bright red. If you do like that coral, well, I say coral, it's called Hot Tomato on our web shop. If you want to buy that, it's on the website as well. But you have got enough in the bundle. Plus, remember your duck egg hen fabric. Love that. Absolutely gorgeous. We thought, you know what, the red is going to work better with the spot on. It was one of those where we said, you know, actually, when it's made up, it's probably going to work better. It's the one that you back your fabric with. It's going to look lovely with the red. I think it's going to team really nicely with your spot on binding. It's a bit better. So that's 1/2 metre of that one as well. Plus your book for £24.99. I've been waiting for so long for us to be able to do kits like this, projects where, you know, at the end of it, at the end of a weekend, you're going to come away with really, really useful projects. And you know the fabrics work. You know it's done for you. The hard work's kind of been done for you. Don't get me wrong, if you want to make something different from the book, you've got lots of fabric there to make maybe the machine cover or your mug rugs, or there's loads in there. I like how you've got the little button as well. Nice little details, lovely details. So, it also uses in between some H640, which I will show you in a minute. I know a lot of us have already got H640 in our stash, so we've bundled it, well, we've just put it separately. The other colourway that we have available, so remember that's the one the sample's made up of, this is your other option, which has your lovely blue hens this time. So the other one's more duck egg blue. This one's like a lovely Copen blue. So you've got this one, which is lovely. You then get exactly the same spot on as you can see in the made up sample, this lovely tan spot. The red, again, same as the binding, this one. And then, do you also get the bright yellow? Ooh, very, very nice. So this one would be, instead of your red, you would have this lovely bright yellow, or for the inside of your storage box, the lining of your storage box is in this great yellow. They look really nice together. Of course, you also get 20 projects to be getting on with, and designed as great quick weekend projects. Lovely gift ideas for people in there. Table sets, there's little quilts, there's achievable projects in there for beginners at £24.99, the whole kit. As I say, the only thing that if you do want to make the sewing machine matte, there's a few projects in here actually that I would use H640. In fact, majority of them. Some of these storage bags which are brilliant. You know, these little tubs. I know Hannah puts plants in these because she's obviously a gardener. She's so into all of her plants, but these would be ideal. You could also use them for your bits and bobs for your stash, couldn't you, in your workroom? Keep your charm packs or your little bits and bobs in there. So that's ideal. And you will, I would ideally use H640. So your Fusible Fleece is on its own by the metre. So it's pre-cut into a metre piece, which looks like this. It's a metre square. It is a fusible fleece, so if ever your instructions call for fusible fleece, I love H640, really, really easy to work with, and it will give you a bit of structure. Visaline website have the instructions of how to adhere it to your fabric, but it is really quite simple. You've got the glue on the one side and the fluffy fleece on the other, and it will just add a bit of body. So if you're making tote bags or cushion fronts, if you're doing quilting on a cushion front, this is going to be ideal for that as well. £9.99 for your H640. Now, shall we meet lovely Jules? I am so gutted that she's not here in the studio, but as soon as she can, then she will be here. But she's done us a brilliant video of how to make the sewing machine mat. Have a watch of this.
Hi everyone, my name's Jules Mayouf and I'm really pleased to be here with you today and going to show you a little project out of the Weekend Sewer book. Just a bit about myself. First of all, I've been sewing for a little while. I sat with my grandma when I was very young. She was a dressmaker and she did alterations, and my sister and I both learnt how to do sewing with her. So from the age of about 12 I was making toys and clothes, and then as I got older, obviously teenage fashion, I did quite a lot of dressmaking. Then when I got married and had my own home, I did a lot of home furnishing, and progressively I had children, so I made clothes for the children. And now I'm quite interested in making bags and also doing quilts, but obviously once you're a sewer, you sew all sorts of stuff, so anything and everything really. But I'm really looking forward to helping everybody on their journey and showing you this nice little project today. Thank you. So today we're going to use Annie's Weekend Sewing book. I'm going to have a look at a little project which is the sewing machine organiser pad. It's on page 14. Okay, so now I've cut out all of the pieces, and what I like to do is put a little label on them to tell me which piece it belongs to. So all of them are lettered, so even if you want to mix and match the fabrics, you can do. Just keep yourself straight really, and that's what I do. Earlier I said about some extra fabric, and what it suggests is that you take a random order of fabric and you just cut some 2.5-inch squares. And these are the letter C. So what these will do is form the band of pretty colours across the middle. So what I'll do first of all is sew these all together. You need 1/4 inch seam, and we're making a strip to go across the centre. The way that I normally sew things that you've got to do a lot of in random order is I do some chain piecing. So chain piecing just means that you stitch one set of fabric and you push the next set of fabric through without breaking the thread. So let's have a look at how we do that. I've paired them up just randomly and take them to the machine. Don't start right off or right on the edge, otherwise you'll pucker your fabric. So just start a little bit in from your fabric. I've got a 1/4 inch guide on my machine. You probably got something similar on yours, or you could use a 1/4 inch foot if you wanted to. And we'll just start and sew ahead and go back a couple, so that takes you to the edge of the fabric, and then continue sewing. And once you're getting near to the end, you take your next pair and feed them along. So just straighten them up a little bit and feed them into the machine, so you haven't had to stop and start and cut your thread. And again, 1/4 inch. Carry on sewing, sew across, and we'll carry on doing that. Got those all in a nice little chain. Snip your stitches in between, and then we can stitch them together into pairs and finally into one long strip. Okay, so we've gone ahead and sewn all of the C's together with our 1/4 inch seam, and the instructions next tell us that we need piece A and piece B, and we need to join them to piece C. So I've gone ahead and joined one seam of C, so that's C and that's B. Next thing, we need to join the top seam, so I've got to join piece A to piece B, piece C. So your seam should be fairly straight. It depends on how you feel about sewing, whether you want to pin it, but because I know that's reasonably straight, I'll just go straight ahead. So just lining them up. I like to sew from C downwards, so the top downwards, because this has got the most seams on it, and it means that you can just make sure that those seams stay flat as you sew. So we're all attached now. So that's essentially what the front flat piece of your machine organiser is going to look like. The next thing is to press this seam down, and the suggestion is that you press the seam towards the coloured band like we did on the first one. So I'll press that one into there. So once you've done that, the next thing is that you take your backing piece, which I'm going to use the hot tomato, and your wadding, and you make your quilt sandwich, which is basically your backing, your wadding, and then your top piece. Once we've done that, we're going to quilt it. So I'll make my sandwich up, I'll press this seam, and then we'll come back and do some quilting. Okay, so now you need to lay your backing fabric face down, so right sides on the table. And if you're going to use fusible webbing, obviously you can fuse that now. Lay those face down. And you want your longest dimension that way, so 24 inches that way and 22 inches that way is the measurements that you're given. And as you can see, obviously your wadding and your backing is a lot bigger, well, a little bit bigger than your top. So now the next thing to do is to what they call baste it, which is kind of tacking it together. I've got curvy pins, which I find quite useful. So you just randomly, I like to do in the corners first, stretching over, using a bit of exercise here. Do the corners. You won't need very much because it's not as huge as a quilt might be. But you just want to stop it moving too much because you're going to quilt now. And the suggestion is in the book to do parallel lines of quilting, which looks quite nice, especially seen as the centerpiece, so your C row is 2 inches wide. If you do 2 inches as your quilting rows, it all looks like it's meant to do the same thing. Next thing is to quilt what they call stitch in the ditch. So the thing that you've got here, to take that as your guide and do a line of stitching either side of this panel C, and then to carry on and up and down your quilt at 2-inch intervals. I wouldn't like to do it freestyling, so I've got my ruler and a friction pen. These friction pens, just test them on a little bit of spare fabric first of all, otherwise if the idea is that when you iron them, the heat removes the ink, but if you haven't tested it and you leave something on there, it's not so nice. So line up your 2-inch on your ruler. I've got an easy rule here because it's quite a long ruler. Line up your 2-inch marking and then take the edge of your quilt as a guide as well, or top as a guide as well, to keep everything nice and straight. Will she draw? Yes, she will. And then just draw a line. Normally I'd be standing up doing this, but oh yes, I better be standing up doing this. That's not great. We'll do that again, shall we? Yes, I think we will. So you get the idea, 2 inches that way, and then move on from that 2-inch line there. Line it up on your line, 2 more inches. So let's just sew stitching in the ditch first of all. You might just want to take it a little bit slow to start off with, so that you know what your machine is going to do. Obviously I didn't take it slow because I know what my machine's going to do, but the aim is that you are sewing in the join, and that, as I say, is what they call stitching in the ditch. So there you go, it just kind of puffs this layer up, so it kind of raises it up, and then on the back you have got your 2 tram lines, if you like. Right, so now we've sewn all of our tram lines and quilted the front top. So we've got now the top, the wadding and the backing all together. Next thing is to trim it to size. So you use the edge of your top as a guide and just trim through all layers as close as you can without going through your top. And you can see now why you had the backing and the wadding a little bit bigger, because it's actually shrunk in, and if you had them all the same size you'd be in trouble right now. So you'll take now your piece D, take my little labels off, and the fun piece now, this is where we get excited. Let's start adding a little bit of the fun element to it. That's your piece E. You need to attach a piece of wadding the same size as D, 2D, which is what I've done already. And then what we're going to do is we're going to sew the top seam and then create a little border. So if you put the 2 raw edges together, make sure they line up. And again, sew through all of them, and we're doing a 1/4 inch seam. So it's going to be like that in a second. So having pressed it, what I'm going to do is just put a clip on the end that's going to be the raw edges, just so that it keeps me right in my mind. So then you need to line up the bottom edges. So this is where we're making the little border at the top. So line up your bottom edges, and I'm going to put a clip in the bottom, and then follow it up so that your side edges are lined up as well. And then you need to sew down this. This is going to make the edge of your pocket when it's on your main top. So let's just do that, and we're just going to trim that down a little bit, just so there's not so much bulk there. Just trim that corner down. And we're turning it through. And there we go. That will be your pocket. So next thing we need to do is just do a little top stitching and a little tacking together, because we want the bottoms to stay together, because we're not going to finish anything off until we finish it off with the binding. So all of these are going to be the raw edges, but we don't want anything to shift because we're going to make some pockets in a second, some subdivisions of the pocket I should say. Okay, so we'll just do a quick hand-based or tack, depending on which side of the pond you're from, just along to hold all of these bottom edges together. I'm doing it in a darker colour just so that I don't forget to take it out when I've finished everything. There's quite a bit happening on that corner. Let's just move it in a little bit and go move it in and take it back so that we can still cover that area. the washes concentrate. Because this is a definite bit that you're going to see, so it's quite nice to actually get it as accurate as you can. In the book, that section there, it actually looks as if you're sewing on the right on here, but just you have to remember, as I said before, that you need to just turn it around. So now we're on to this stage here where we're going to fix the pocket in place. So I left my little pin up there to tell me that was the top. And I'm now lining up the bottom edges and the raw edge at the side. And this is where you can decide how many pockets you want. I think on here they had 4. If you think that the stuff that you're going to put in it, you only need 3, fine. Or if you need a slim pocket, fine. You just do it however you want. I'm going to follow what we've got in the book here. So first of all, I'll just put some little clips around it to hold it in place. So top stitching is where you just go as close as you can to the edge of the fabric that you've got. Because this is a pocket as well, I'll start off and then I'm going to go back again in the same stitches and back again, just to make it a little bit more secure. And now I'll go, you can measure this if you want to, it's entirely your call, it's your, just go back a little bit and back down again and straight down. You can mark this if you want to, like we did with the quilting lines earlier on. I'm just being a bit of a rebel. I'm going straight for it. And I'll do the other 2. I suppose if you really wanted to be fancy, you could do a bit of a decorative stitch down here if you wanted to. Again, it's your choice. Right, lovely. My little chickadees, there they are. My little pockets. Okay, so that's that little bit done. Now we're going to be on to doing our binding, which is where we put in the edges around the quilt and making sure that it's all neat and tidy. So we're going to do the binding, which is where you've cut your 3 strips width of fabric. So width of fabric means selvage to selvage. So you've got your 3 strips. The useful thing about this book is that at the back of the book they give you information on how to bind your quilt. So that's what we're going to do now. First of all, you take your strips and you need to join your strips together so that you've got one continuous piece to go around the quilt. So we'll join them right sides together. Take 2 strips, and this is just something to get your brain around. You have the bottom strip facing up, the top strip facing down, and you make them a square in the corner. Then what you're going to do is sew from corner to corner on the square, if you imagine that's the square. So that means that when you open it out, they'll be joined that away. And the reason that you do that is so that obviously you've got a join and your continuous piece, but the join is graduated. So you've got a little piece up here and a little piece down there, rather than if you were joining them square ended, you've got a whole bulky join that's vertical. So this way it's more graduated. So take our 2 pieces. If you want to, you can mark that diagonal from that corner to that corner. I'm going rogue. So what I do is turn it to the side, put the point underneath I've got a little marker on my machine that's a straight line, and then I just, oops, don't put that down too soon, go from corner to corner. And what you've done then is you've joined the two pieces together in one continuous strip. The other thing, just as a by the by, that I do is you're going to be cutting this off, thinking about your scrap busting ideas. I do another row of stitching next to the first row of stitching, and then I cut off that corner, which means this is done as I'd like it to be, but also I've got a little half square triangle to put in my scrap bag. So you've now got a continuous strip. Next thing you need to do is press it. We're going to have it in half so that we can bind the quilt. So what we'll do is we'll have it in half, stitch it, and then fold it over. What you need to do is fold the one end in and press that down, and then press the whole length in half, which I'll go and do now. Okay, so we've pressed our binding, we've pressed under a little bit at the end. This is going to be where we have a neat finish at the end. Decide where you want to put your binding, where you want to start it. Obviously it's going on the edges, but I start mine here because I know that I'm going to have the thread catcher over the top. So that means that you won't really see the join. But don't start it right at the end, because what you want to be doing when you've finished it is tucking the other end underneath and making a nice neat finish. So you need room to do that. So you start about 3 inches in, which is about here. But also what I'll do is I'll put a little marker so I don't get carried away with things, so it reminds me when to stop sewing, so we can actually do that at the end. So let's take it to the machine. And you're going the right sides of your work, because you'll sew here and then you'll flip the whole up onto the other side. So let's start here. Just take a little bit of care because it's a lot of fabric that you're going through. And we'll do a 1/4 inch on there. So coming up to the corner, I've made a mark on my foot, machine foot here, that tells me once the end has reached the end of the work, that's a 1/4 inch in. So I'll show you what I mean. So if I stop now, that's a 1/4 inch to the end. So what you will do, oops, I'll just get over it so I can see it properly. There we go. So lift your presser foot, turn your work around, lift your needle. I take this out to show you. So you will be folding the loose piece up at a right angle and forming a diagonal here. So that's the first part of your mitre. This is a 1/4 inch. We're sewing a 1/4 inch seam, so that will tell you that when you take your work, binding down back again, you can continue along at that 1/4 inch. The other check that you make is that this is level with each other, and your fold on your binding that you're moving on with is level with the top of your work. Once you've done all of that, if you start then sewing at a 1/4 inch, everything should work out fine. Fingers crossed and all the rest of it. So we start at the top of the work, 1/4 of an inch in. Put your needle down, just check that everything is lining up. And away we go again. I'm just going to finish that there. And now what we want to do is just finish the end. I'll cut that off so I can show you better. So this is our binding end. Oh, just a little bit too far. Take a couple of stitches back. There we go. Make sure that's nice and flat. You might not want to go quite as far as that. Might want to take a little bit off. Now you can see it. That's a little bit off. Okay. So back we go again. Make sure all of these little pieces are underneath. So find where you were. And because I've unpicked a little bit, I'm going to start a little bit further in just to secure that end. And now we're sewing up to where we started. So now what we'll do is we'll turn everything over to the other side. You've got your mitered corners, so they should all be nice and neat. We'll make a nice mitre. You turn everything over and then we'll either stitch in the ditch, and if you're going to do that, you need to just make sure that the piece that you've turned under is just a bit further down than where this seam is, because that's where you would stitch if you stitch in the ditch. Personally, I prefer to slip stitch, which is a hand stitch at the end, and you can judge where this line of stitching is so that you make sure you cover it and everything's nice and neat on the other side. But basically, once you've put your binding around, that's complete. Okay, so we've completed our organiser pad. Now we're going to do the scrap catcher, which is going to fit here. We attach it with a little button, which you can either get a nice button or you can do a covered button. It's up to you. So we have got our 8.5 by 10.5 rectangles. Make sure that your chickens are facing upwards, and what you need to do then is cut 2 inches from the bottom of each of the pieces. I've also got the lining pieces at the top here. You do exactly the same with them. So you've got like little T's. Just notice I need to clip the wadding. We've already attached the fusible wadding. It's advised us in the literature to be able to do that. So that's all attached. The next thing that we need to do is to sew down all of the long seams here and across the bottom. We do exactly the same with the outer as you do with the lining, but on the lining you just need to remember to leave a turning gap at the bottom of about 4 inch, no, around about that 3 or 4 inches at the bottom, so that you can turn through when you've completed everything. Alright, so let's do that now. Matching the edges together, right sides together with the wadding on the outside. So that's your fusible wadding again, the H640 that we used on the scrap mat. bottom on this one. This was the bit that I liked the best out of this project. I thought it was really fun, this little hen material. Okay, so the next thing that you do is we're going to box the bottom corners. Let's get rid of these threads first. And the way that we do this is you pull out the unstitched area, make it nice and flat. Then you want to be matching up your seams. Ideally press your seams, but you can just open them out with your fingers if you want to. And then what we're going to do is sew across there. Okay, so that gives you a nice little square base. So it's going to stand up quite nicely. Obviously now we're going to do the lining. But first, before we do the lining is done in exactly the same way. So we're stitching down the long seams, leaving a gap in the bottom, and then matching the corners up and making the box. But before we do that, I'm just going to make a little hanging loop. So this is your material H, and what you need to be doing there is, if you just fold it right sides together, give it a little finger press, and then we'll sew along there and along the edge to make a loop. Alternatively, if you thought, well, actually I don't really want to be turning that loop through, you could do just a little outsides to the middle and then across. I think in the book that's how we were going to do it. Just double check. So actually, yes, that was how we were going to do it. So fold it in half as we did before, open it out, fold the outsides to the centre. This is quite good material to finger press with, actually. Outsides to the centre, and then fold the two folded edges together. So that way all of your, it's a bit like bias binding actually, all of your raw edges are on the inside. And then we'll just do a little edge stitch down the length of there. Tucking everything in as we go. So now we'll just turn our bag inside out. There's all the chickens. Push out the corners. Then find the centre back of your bag. Mine's the same front and back, so you just choose a side. The little hanging loop that we've just made, we want to just attach it, and we'll do a quick slip stitch on the machine. Just make it, I'll put it on there, I don't really need that, but you want to just do it on the edge. You're just catching it, you don't really want to do much more than that, so it stays in place when we put the bag and the lining together. Okay, so I went ahead and did the same with the lining. So we've now got the sides and the bottom with the gap left open there. So now we're just going to do our corners again. So you take the material, open it out, seam to seam, open your seams out so you've reduced the bulk, and you stitch it across. And with this one I'm just going to pin it. Unusual, I know, but I will. There we go, because I don't want it to shift. And then we go in there, sew it across, just do a anchor stitch first, sew it across, so we want the right side, so this is my right side of the lining, the right side of the bag. Put your bag inside your lining, and we're going to sew all around the top, but first of all we need to make sure that we've matched the seams, so push it down as far as you can, find where your seams are, open out the seam and just pin around the top. So match your seams first. Arm setting, and around we go. Okay, that's all done. Trim you up a little bit. Okay, so now we're going to push everything through the gap that we left in the lining. Emerging from the darkness, our chickens are hatching. There we go. So because we've done a box bottom, the corners are already pushed out. Sometimes you have to fiddle around, but they look quite nice actually. And before we close everything up, to make sure those corners are all complete, and you can either slip stitch or sew, machine stitch rather, the opening. Normally, again, I slip stitch. I prefer finishing by hand, but I will just quickly close this up so we can finish off. Just making sure my loop was out. I don't like unpicking either. Okay. There we are. So the last thing that remains is to just top stitch all the way around. I mean, that looks quite nice, but we'll push the lining right the way down and top stitch it over. Maybe have just a slight bit, but what I'll do is I'll just put some clips or I mean you can press it, but I'll just put some clips for now and wiggle the seam round. I want my hanger to be up, not down, so I'll make sure that I don't top stitch over that way, I'll top stitch that away. You could trim a little bit of the wadding away if you wanted to as well, but I quite like it being quite padded. Right, so let's do a little bit of top stitching. So I don't want my 1/4 inch this time, so I'm going to move my needle across. I'm still going to use my 1/4 inch guide, but I'm going to move my needle over. That should just top stitch it for me. I really like this fabric. It's so cheerful and quite quirky. I think when you're sewing it'll be quite a nice fabric to keep looking at. Also, having a slightly lighter lining but all of the same colour means that you can actually see where you're dropping your threads and your scraps. Okay, let's meet it up then. There we go. Let's trim back our threads. And I've been putting mine into my thread catcher down here. Don't think I'm just throwing it on the floor. Alright, there we go. So that's our little thread catcher, and it's going to sit on the mat that we made earlier. And all I need to do now is just to sew a button onto here. And I think, yeah, quite a nice little make, actually. Enjoyed making that. So as you can see, we've finished the pad now. Slip stitch the back, so the binding has gone all the way over to the back. Just slip stitch it round. I've added a little covered button, which I used the scrap from the scrappy bag to make, and it's padded because we had some padding on there. And then you can go on and make your little scrap catcher. This has got your loop, so your loop fits over the button, and there you go. That's your sewing machine organiser pad complete. Just in time to add your bits and bobs, so you can put your rotary cutter in there, you can put your scissors in there, some marker pens. So I hope you've enjoyed watching me make this project. It's a nice fun little project. I really love the scrappy bag. I think I'm going to be making quite a few of those. So it was all out of the Annie's Sewing Weekend sewing book. And I hope to see you again soon. Thank you for letting me show you.
Thank you, Jules. We can't wait to meet you in the studio. Thank you. Those of you that have already got the kit, well done. There's so many of you that checked out. A really lovely project. It's very achievable to do relatively quickly, actually. A nice quick make. And I'm excited to see when you're sending your pictures to the Facebook fan page, any other projects from this book as well. Because remember, there are 20 different projects, achievable projects, quick and easy, gorgeous projects for £24.99. So the bundle that you can see the graphics in for at the moment is the bundle that Jules was demoing with, which will include your book. It will also have half a metre of your spot on red, half a metre of your spot on tan, and then remember the only difference with the one that Jules had at home and the bundle here is that you get red, so it's a slightly different shade of red. The one that Jules had was this hot tomato. And I keep forgetting because it's not here, but you also get your chickens. You do also get your half a metre of this beautiful sewing hens, your duck egg beautiful blue, and that's enough to make your storage box and your quilting mat. So your sewing machine mat. There are less than 10 of these bundles now. Isn't a surprise because it's the one that there was the Jules' demo with, but we couldn't get any more. That's everything that we've bundled together. Loads have already gone. There's 10 left of those colourways, so if you do like that, please do check out as soon as you can. If you're watching on a replay, it's definitely worth asking availability. You never know. The other colourway that we have has the Copen Blue hens this time instead of the duck egg. So Copen Blue hens. It's all right, Joe. Copen Blue hens, plus also your tan spot on, your red spot on, and instead of the red, you've got the lovely golden tone as well for your backing and your lining, that lovely golden. There's 25 of these, plus don't forget you also get your book. You do get your weekend sewing Annie's book, and yeah, all that you need to really add is your H640. You can always watch the video on YouTube afterwards. Jot down today's date. Remember, you can watch that back at any time when you get the kit home, which is brilliant. Watch all of our shows back. They're there forever. They're there forever. Now, if you do want to add any H640 to your order, as I know so many people always do whenever we have it, I mean, the first time this came to air, we had over 300 metres sell in one showing. So it is very, very useful, whether you're a quilter, a bag maker, all sorts. It's really gorgeous, and it is going to add a lovely, what's the word, structure to your projects. Remember, it's not like the fusible foam, it's not like the foam, but it is going to add lovely texture. Just £9.99. I'm thinking if you're making any quilting quilted cushions as well, this is ideal for that. Just gives it a bit of body. £9.99 is a metre square of your H640 fusible fleece. Now, if you do want any clips, we saw Jules using the Wonder clips throughout the show, actually, from organising all of her pattern pieces and instructions, but also for binding as well. These are really useful. And for smaller projects, the 10-pack is ideal, actually. It's just £7.99 with all of these beautiful bright colours. There's some threads as well, which are on our website. Please have a look at those, the Gutermann threads. We're going to be back in just a couple of minutes with the 680. Lots of other goodies as well, including the Orofill. Don't go anywhere. Thanks, Jules. We'll see you right after this.
Hi, I'm John Cole Morgan, and I'm here to give you my top tips on how I go about enjoying my sewing experience. My first top tip, as everybody knows, rotary cutter safety. If you're not using it and it's not on the mat, that blade must be locked. Please be safe. My second top tip is always buy more fabric than you need. If you don't have it, it's always going to sell out. You're going to struggle to find it, and when you do, it's going to cost you a lot more than when you were going to buy it originally. So buy it all. You always regret the bit you didn't buy. My next tip is, positive or negative, always listen to the advice and opinions of other people. Even if you ignore them, everybody has a different perspective, everybody has a different take on things, and it might help you along the way. The next top tip I have is always buy the most expensive and the most useful and the most practical for your brain product that works for you. Some people prefer different things. Buy what works for you. And my last tip is, this is fun, this is enjoyable, and make sure you are enjoying it. Because there's nothing worse than carrying on with something and hating it and not enjoying it. You need to make sure that you're having fun. Those are my top tips and how it is that I enjoy my sewing experience. I hope they help you, because they have helped me. For more handy tips and demonstrations, make sure you watch us on our Freeview channel 74, Sky channel of 670, otherwise follow us on YouTube on Sewing Street, where you can catch up on past demonstrations and shows. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
If you love sewing, then you need the UK's favourite sewing magazine. Every month, you'll receive exclusive patterns. Follow simple step-by-step guides suitable for all skill levels to make your own stunning clothes, accessories and more, together with inspiring tips and tricks from industry experts. Join in and discover your love for sewing. Try Love Sewing today and get your first 3 issues for just £6.
Hello there, I'm Debbie Shaw, and I would love you to join me on the first Monday of every single month for Sewing Street Surgery. Now, this is a dedicated hour where I answer your questions, and that could be questions about techniques, it could be questions about tools, it could be questions about new products, or maybe something that you've seen that you just don't understand. There's a lot of questions about tensions on sewing machines, and there's a lot of questions about working with different weights of fabrics. So if you have a question that you'd like to ask me, the easiest way to bring a question over to us is to go to our Facebook page and post your question on there. I will collate all of those questions throughout the week. If we need any new products for you, or if we need any new demonstrations, those will all be worked on leading up to that first Monday of the month. So do join me, Debbie Shaw, on Sewing Street Surgery on the first Monday.
Hello, welcome back. We've got the most incredible hour for you now. We're talking through a couple of machines, actually. It's not just going to be focused on the 680. We've got a couple of machines depending on... We're all at different levels of our sewing journey, aren't we? We're all on different sort of paths, and we all have different budgets, obviously, as well. So what I love about Sewing Street is that we don't sort of necessarily always champion one specific tool. We like to give you options. I like to see what the designers and what the experts love and the useful sort of features and functions about all sorts of projects and tools, and let you know what there is, and then it's up to you to make the decision. So it is brilliant that we've got lots of different makes and brands and tools and products for you to try out and have a bit of a go with. Now, before I start talking about the amazing 680, it is incredible. It's from Elna. I'll talk about that in a moment. First, I haven't been here for over a week, and I've been seriously envious. I've been over on our sister channel, Jewelry Maker, and every single time I see somebody here at Sewing Street, I'm like, please, can you save these for me? Please, please, please. Because, right, I think this is going to be the last chance to get these, because we've now got less than 20. We will absolutely reorder these. These are your complete necessities when it comes to Aurifil colours. So, why Aurifil, and why am I so excited about these? Thread is thread, I always thought, but the more I've sort of learned over the last couple of years about quilting, patchwork and designer fabrics, we always think about, you know, our designer fabrics and using maybe the more expensive fabrics. But of course, if you're piecing, depending on what sort of part of your journey you're on, start to think about what thread you're using as well to piece these beautiful fabrics that we have together. Aurifil are incredible. They are made in Italy. They are absolutely luxurious. They really, really are. They're 100% cotton, which has a lot of benefits, of course, as well. It does as well. A lady I was talking to has been quilting for years and years and years. She only uses Aurifil, only uses it for hand sewing, for EPP, for patchwork, in a bobbin, will only use Aurifil. And I think when you've sort of taken that step and dipped your toe in, it will become one of those that you see the difference, you do see the difference in your sewing. I'm not saying any disrespect at all to polyester thread, because, I mean, we use it virtually every day. It's personal preference. But the amount of people who do patchwork who have talked to me about Aurifil and the benefits of using it, I think is absolutely huge. £35.99 sounds quite an investment when you're looking at 4 spools, but these are large spools. You've got 1,300 metres on each spool. You then also, remember, have, I mean, you've got loads there for one, but also, if you break it down your price per metre, you can use it for your machine piecing, you can use it for your hand sewing. This grey, for anybody who is an English paper piecer, these are going to be ideal, absolutely. This colour in particular, I think it's going to be really, really useful for your hand sewing. You're always going to be able to use them. Your black, your grey, your white and your cream. Aurifil is a brand that is, well, world-renowned. It's absolutely world-renowned. There are so many quilters that I know prefer to use cotton. There's a lot of bag makers, dressmakers that I know prefer to use cotton. There's a quilter who I was talking to who said, if you're using polyester, then use a polyester thread, but if you're using a cotton fabric, it is best to match up with a cotton thread, because over time, and I mean over time, over a long period of time, the polyester threads, of course, are now, well, they are amazing quality as well. They are brilliant quality. But there's a lot of people who I know still absolutely love to use just 100% cotton thread. And for the price point that we're doing with Aurifil today at $35.99, I think the price per metre is fantastic. If you actually break it down, it isn't that considered when you can use it for your hand sewing, your piecing, your bobbin, you can use it in your machine, you can use it for virtually all of your sewing, really, can't you? 50 weight, it's your 50 weight, so it's the most universal weight that Aurifil produce. If you use Aurifil, I would really, really love to hear from you what it is that you love about it and what you use it for. Do you use it all the time? Do you just save it for best? It doesn't necessarily need to be for your everyday sewing, but if you're making a really special quilt, maybe one that's going to be passed down or for a friend or for a loved one, It's something to think about, isn't it, Hannah? It's something that we all talk about quite often, actually, and to be able to get all 4, I'm saying your sort of neutral colours, you're going to be able to use this with all of your, they're the most used colours, aren't they? You've got black, your grey, your white, and this lovely ivory as well, all for £35.99. Honestly, for anybody who's managed to get these, well done, because we are now, well, there's less than 20 of these now, and we only launched them this week. They're gorgeous quality. They really, really are gorgeous, gorgeous quality. Those of you that can't find the end of your thread, don't cut it. Please don't cut it. If you take the bottom off, it is designed to come off completely. The end of the thread is there at the bottom. And then you can just put that back on to start sewing. So it's there. £35.99. If you can't find the end of it, just pull the bottom and it's there. Little tip from Aurifil. Saw that on YouTube. £35.99, because a lot of people are saying, can't find the end of it. Can't find the end of my my thread. Don't cut into it, you don't need to. But brilliant. What was that, sorry, Joe? Thank you. Right. If you haven't been able to watch in the week, do take advantage, because that price is brilliant, and I have begged and pleaded to be able to get those back in. It only launched this week, and there's less than 20 of those, £35.99. So have a serious think about them, especially if you are, you know, making some really special quilts for people. If you're taking that next step, you're thinking about buying more expensive fabrics and your more luxury fabrics, think about what you're piecing them together with. That's all I'm saying. They're gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. What suits you? So talking about choice, we're all on our different paths. We're all thinking of different priorities. If you are starting out sewing, I wouldn't necessarily recommend this machine as your first machine for sewing. But, I mean, don't get me wrong. If you've got the budget to do it, you won't need to buy another one anytime soon. It's absolutely brilliant. It really, really is. Those of you that are wanting to upgrade your machine, maybe you've got, you know, you haven't got a computerized machine and you're wanting to take that leap. The great thing about this one, if you're a bit fearful of using a computerized machine, is Elna have done all of the hard work for you. They are absolutely brilliant. When we do anything that will be in the studio, sewing in the studio, in the future, as I said earlier, we are, of course, planning getting lots of guests in when we're able to, and hopefully do as many demonstrations each week as possible. But this will become sort of like our flagship machine. This will be the machine that everybody, no matter what brand our guest designers are sort of used to sewing with, it's user-friendly, it's so adaptable, whether you're a dressmaker, a quilt maker, whether you're a bag maker, whether you're a dressmaker, no matter what sort of skill you have, I think this is one of the most adaptable machines because of the amount of different stitches that it has, because of its build, because of the size of it as well. So starting with that, it has a really nice extra wide throat space. So this is ideal if you are a quilter. Quite often it's hard to lug through big quilts when you're quilting. This is going to be ideal for that. It's a really lovely sturdy machine. It's not going to be jumping around your table. Even though it is a big machine, it's still a domestic machine. It's still, even though it's heavy, it doesn't need to be a machine necessarily that stays in one place. You can put it away and bring it out. Bag makers as well, it's got a free arm. So I think if you are like me and like a lot of us wanting to try different skills and dip in and out of dressmaking, quilting, bag making, this is going to be absolutely amazing. So have a look at some of its key features. As I say, Elna are not a new brand. They've been going for years and years and years, so they have thought of everything with this. You've got 170 stitches, including 10 buttonholes. I'll show you those in a second. It's got a superior built-in needle threader as well, which is going to save lots of time, isn't it? We all have that, whether it be your eyesight or whether it be just a bit fiddly. We always find needle threading very fiddly indeed. So that's a built-in superior needle threader. It does it for you. That large throat space that I was talking about, it sews very, very quick. If you want to do some speedy sewing up to 1,000 stitches per minute, you also have the speed control that you can see there on the front, which you can of course slow down if you're doing something more intricate or fiddly. Free arm, as I've just shown you as well. Bag makers, dressmakers, if you're doing anything with sleeves or trouser legs, that's going to be really helpful. Automatic programmable thread cutter. So if you want at the end of your sequence of sewing for it to cut the thread, one, it's going to save time, it's also going to save on your thread, it's also going to be very, very neat. That is one of our favourite functions of this machine. It's got the presser foot adjustment as well, so you can actually adjust the presser foot. You've got an easy, can you just move the screen across please, Jo, so I can see it? It's just the camera's in the way. Thank you. Easy and guided bobbin threader and built-in thread cutter, your bobbin thread and upper thread sensors, your extra wide table, so it also comes with a big extension table as standard, 10-unit kit easy bobbins as well, so extra bobbins included. There's more, there is still more. All of the accessories that come with it, a huge array of accessories. So you can see there on the sewing machine, the extension table set up. If you were leaving your sewing machine, I would keep that anyway. All of your projects, that's going to be really, really handy. They all have letters on each of your feet, so you can quickly identify them. The great thing about the machine as well is if you were picking a stitch, I haven't got this plugged in, but for example, if you're picking a stitch that's, say, one of the satin stitches, there's a huge array of satin stitches here. I'm going to say number 78, which is like your classic sort of satin stitch. You want to do a plique. It will automatically tell you what foot you need on the machine. It will tell you on the machine what foot you need, and it will also automatically default to its appropriate stitch width and stitch length, which you can override. So even though I'm saying 170 stitches, you can then alter the stitches by changing the width or changing the length. There's also lots of amazing pictorial stitches. You've got monogramming if you want to do alphabets, if you want to do numbers. You've got utility stitches, buttonholes, all sorts on there. So we're talking about the feet. It comes with a walking foot, ideal for bag makers and quilters. It comes with, you saw the list of feet and accessories that come as standard. If we go back to that slide, please, Jo, the slide with all of the different feet. There were loads and loads and loads that were all listed and all come in the little compartments. All the little compartments. There you go. So it comes with your darning foot, your convertible free motion foot. In fact, actually, it comes with lots of different free motion feet. So you've got your free motion foot, a closed toe free motion foot, an open toe free motion foot, a clear toe free motion foot. There's so much that comes with it. If you are thinking about, you know, making that next step in the world of your machine, if you're thinking your machine, you may have outgrown your machine potentially, I really can't recommend this enough. I know so many industry experts, professional sewers, people who sew as a job, people who sew for a hobby, that absolutely love this machine. It comes with a 5-year warranty, which isn't normal. Normally 3 years. Because of our relationship with Elna, we've actually managed to secure an extra 2 years for free for you, which is normally an additional cost. So you do get that 5-year warranty. You will get the 5-year warranty. This will come directly from Elna, so it might come separately to anything that you've bought today, but it will come direct from Elna. They're still shipping out at the moment, but the people who are doing the warranties are at the moment on furlough, so they will be sending you your all of your warranty paperwork afterwards, but it's still under warranty. You're still under warranty. It will just be your 2-year warranty at that point, but you'll get the extended warranty, all your paperwork sent through to you afterwards. Also, I wanted to talk about when I was picking out a stitch, it talks about stitch plate. So it will tell you if you need another stitch plate. Now, that can be a bit baffling. I haven't got the other stitch plate here, but if I just have a look at this book, I love this book. I'll talk about it in a minute. But the reason that I want to just show it to you now is because, let me see where it is that, there it is. I've put quite a few tabs in here, as you can see. You know how much I love this book. It's back in stock at the moment. But there's some really nice little tips and techniques. And I saw this one. I just want to read it to you. So a straight stitch needle plate is the plate that you also get with this machine. So replacing a standard zigzag machine throat plate with a straight stitch plate will improve your stitching. The needle cannot be accidentally dragged sideways, giving you a better straight stitch and reducing the tendency for stitches to get chewed up at the start of the seam. This probably happens to a lot of us, doesn't it? So having that straight stitch plate as well, I think is brilliant if you are doing straight sewing. Just popping that on. Really, really easy to change your stitch plate as well. It's really, really easy to just take that out and replace it with whether you're doing more decorative stitching or if you are doing straight stitching. The book, by the way, I've just put we have just put the graphics in because it is an amazing book. It's full of lots of great tips and techniques. In fact, I have just marked out some of the machining parts on here. So you've got lots about machine piecing. If you want to do some EPP and you want to applique it with your machine onto projects, whether it be onto quilts or whether it be onto bags, there's lots of great ideas in here. Whether you're doing applique, binding, if you're doing machine binding, there's lovely tips in there. What else have I pointed out? There's the straight stitch needle plate. This one was my EPP, but there's so many. If you go to your index, there's lots of different things that you can use your machine with, but also some just great quilting techniques. £9.99. Your price per technique is crazy. You know how much we love Susan, and she really, really doesn't. She doesn't sort of go lightly with her books, does she? 400 tips in there and great techniques for £9.99. This had just come back into stock last week. We'll always try and get this on reorder because it is a great book with lots of techniques in there. Just £9.99. Absolutely make the most of that whilst you can. So back to the machine. I was talking about different pictorial stitches. This machine also is very, very clever. It has a very good memory. So if you want to put together stitch combinations, whether it be, some of your pictorial stitches, if you want to do some monogramming, maybe personalisation, it isn't an embroidery machine, but because of all of these incredible different stitches, you're going to be able to do some great personalising on your quilt labels or on T-shirts, whatever you want to personalise. Gives you lots of ideas. It does have that bigger stitch width as well. This is a 9mm stitch width, so some of your if you do want to do larger monogramming, that's brilliant. Quilters, that's my foot up. I'm going to press it even more and it will lift even higher. So if you are trying to get bulky fabrics through, if you're dressmakers, bag makers, if you're getting all of your wadding through, home interiors, curtains, it has got that extra lift as well. On the front keypad, it's got all of these different key points which are so useful, ones that you are going to use every day with sewing. Keep all of your feet in the nice little compartments. It's got your speed control, which I briefly mentioned earlier on. So at full speed, we can do 1,000 stitches per minute. That we don't always want to sew that quick. If we're pivoting, if we're wanting to, do some more intricate sewing, if you want to get children sewing, maybe you can just slow that down and put it at the tortoise rate. What I love about that is if you've got your foot pedaling, no matter if you're a bit heavy-footed like me, put your foot down. It will still only go with what speed control you've got here. So you can control it and change the speed whilst sewing as well, which is ideal. So the thread cutter, absolutely brilliant. As I said, it does have a memory that if you want to end your stitches with needle down, and with a snip, you can do that. So that thread cutter is invaluable. It's brilliant. Needle down. If you're pivoting, love that. I will always just set it up that it will always end with needle down. Your locking stitch, instead of having to go back and forth, you can just do a simple locking stitch, which is really nice and neat. You have got your reverse also on there, and start stop. So if you don't want to use your foot pedal, maybe if you are sewing with children, or to be honest, I learnt on a machine that had that start-stop button, and now, as I say, I'm heavy-footed. I can't quite get the hang of using a foot pedal. It's what you're used to, isn't it? So it has got the start-stop option. It also has an e-lift. So if you're used to using, I know a lot of people who used to work on industrial machines love the knee lift. I've never tried to use a knee lift, to be honest. I feel like it's doing a bit of a jig as you go along. But if you do want to make sure you keep your hands completely sort of free, or lift the foot with your knee lift. So it depends, again, what you're used to. So that's all of the accessories. As I said, there's so many accessories that come with it. You're going to be able to do beautiful blind hems. You're going to be able to do rolled hems. You're going to be able to do your zips. You're going to be able to do lots of different styles of buttonholes. Just on the front screen here, it's got some more really sort of great key points, whether you're doing your straight stitch, your 1/4 inch, you've got your zigzag, you've also got a buttonhole, you've got your mirroring. So a lot of the stitches that we have got on the stitch guide, you're able to switch over and mirror. You can do twin needling, you can do elongating on your stitches, as I say. It has a memory, but if you're a bit scared of using a computerized machine, please do not worry. I am a technophobe. I am awful. I am awful. I'm constantly ringing. I'm constantly ringing Joe. At the start of lockdown, I did a quiz. I'm going to tell you this funny story. We did a quiz. All of us were on this quiz, and it was also with a lot of other people. It was one of these sort of virtual quizzes, pub quiz. And halfway through round one, a lady come really close up to the camera and went, "Can Vicky stop sharing her screen?" All these poor people, I'd somehow shared it. I was eating my dinner. I'd covered the quizmaster with my face. I don't know how I did it. And I think I was rolling my eyes at the majority of the questions because I was like, I don't know this. I don't know this. It was a very clever Warwick quiz, wasn't it, guys? But I didn't know it. So, yeah, I'm very, very bad at technical things. And this is the most user-friendly thing. As I say, it won't let you do anything you're not allowed to do. So it'll bleep at you. And if you keep pressing lots of buttons and you think, oh, hang on, I just need to go back to the start, hold cancel, and that will take you right back to default straight stitch. So if you are like me and want to go, oh, what does this button do? What does this button do? Just press then cancel, it will take you back to normal. Modes, it does have at the top different modes, modes 1, mode 2, mode 3, mode 4, so you can switch between the modes really easily. You can do your memory feature, that is the M button, with your thread cutter and locking stitch, elongate your stitch width and stitch length really quick and easily on the touch screen LED compartment there. If you do have any questions and you want to speak to somebody, I love the manual. It's really user friendly. Again, it talks you through in really simple terms. It's not one of those, whoa, I can't read that. It's actually really nice and simple to read. But if you do want to speak to somebody, Elna have a UK-based customer service team. So they'll be able to help you out with anything that you need. Instruction manual, though, is really great. And it will talk you through everything that comes with the machine, all of the accessories, all of the buttons, how to do the memory function, how to get sewing and how to get making, because that's what you want, isn't it? It's all good having a machine that has got jazz hands and does all singing and dancing, but sometimes you just want to be able to know that it does a straight stitch really, really well and sews beautifully without skipping stitches. So it's a really great machine for that. But it's nice to know that it can sing and dance and do all the jazz hands as well, if you want to do more fancy work. I do think whenever I come in and use this machine, now, sorry, my sewing machine at home, if you hear this, but I think it shows in the results. If you're using a machine like this, one, it's really quick and easy to get sewing. You can wind it and thread it, wind the bobbin and change your thread and thread it up really, really quickly and get sewing. But also I find that the results are better. I think if you've got the machine and the right tools to do the job, you'll find your results are better and therefore you enjoy it more. I always find I sew so much more if I'm, using the machine, coming to work and have a bit of a play with it. You get instant results so much quicker than I would at home. So there's loads I could talk to you about this. I absolutely love this machine. If you do want any more information, if you've got any particular questions about it, please will you message in. If I don't know the answer, then I will find out for you. If you don't know, then I will find out for you. So please do make the most of that. That's $1,099, the 680 plus. Okay, so that's your 680 plus. Right, fantastic. We're going to leave that in your hands. We are going to leave that in your hands. Do make the most of that. As if you have got any questions, as I say, speak to the customer service team or message into Facebook. Hayley's always got her eagle eye on the Facebook page. If any questions come in, of course you can ask me, or if she can't answer it, she'll be able to find the answer for you. That's Sewing Street TV. Any questions that you have for it, it's Sewing Street TV. We love the 680, and I can't wait to, see what our guest designers as well in the future have to say about it, because it is going to become our sort of flagship machine, really, isn't it? It's going to be the one that's used a lot here at Sewing Street. If you do have it, will you message in what you love about it? I know so many people who work, as I say, in the industry. There's lots of people who sew as a hobby. All absolutely love that machine. Don't worry about that. Joe's just getting the next machine up for us, which is going to be the 550. We're going to do the 550 next, which I think actually it's the only, sorry, Joe was standing in front of it. I think it's the only machine that we actually have that is under £500, which, don't get me wrong, it is still considered. It's still, well, what I must say is it's not, I don't want to say this is an entry-level machine by any means, because it's still an Elna, which the brand itself speaks for itself. It's not an entry-level machine. It's a fantastic, fantastic machine that you're still going to be able to do lots of brilliant sewing with. But when we are going to bring you products, even though we want to bring you lots of choice, we're not going to sort of bring you ones that in a month you're going to go, hang on a minute, this machine's no good. We're still only going to bring you the ones that we would sort of recommend. Elna, when you're buying anything, you want to know the brand, don't you? You want to know that it's, especially when you're paying £500 for something, you want to know the brand. Hannah said that was when I started, that was her budget. She said I needed to replace. She said, and that's, do you know, that's a good thing to do. Hannah said I had my mum's machine, which I'd grown up with. If you can borrow a machine off somebody to just have a go with it, I would recommend that, definitely. I think her mum got it when she was 25 or 30. Was it one of those that had like a dial? It had a dial and it had sort of 10 stitches. It done its job. It done its job in life. It had been the workhorse. But Hannah said, I needed a new machine. I wanted one that I didn't have to replace in a year. I wanted one that could last. That she always had a machine in the house. It's nice to have a machine in the house. See, I know a lot of people who are also professional sewers that have got a second home or a caravan or, a workshop or something, and they have their 680 or they have their 720 and they have their big machine in their workshop, but then they want one at home because they like one in their home even though they've got a workshop elsewhere. And this is their second machine because it's still Elna. It still does the job. It's still got some great features and functions on the front, and it still has a lot of stitches. So you've got all of these stitches. You do get 50 stitches, well, 49 stitches for £479. So all of your sort of utility stitches, your buttonholes, you've got satin stitches on here, applique stitches. You have got some sort of quilting stitches as well. You can do some beautiful quilting with these patterns as well. And I know that Debbie's done some examples of how gorgeous these look together. So you have got all of those, and they're really conveniently there on the inside of your machine. Also, have you noticed, you get 2 meters of fabric as well, just to get sewing. So you get half a metre of each of these fabrics just to get going. So if you are in the position that you're thinking, right, do you know what? During this lockdown, I've been watching you every day and I'm doing a bit of hand sewing and I'm doing the crafts that I can do, but now I'm ready for a machine. I've dusted one off out of the loft and I'm thinking, it's just not doing the job that I want. Don't want to have to replace it in 6 months. I think this is a really great machine. And because as well, don't get me wrong, it's got weight to it, so it's not going to bounce around. It's still nice and easy to sort of transport. So if I'm putting it away or if I'm getting it out, it's quite easy to have. I can't have my machine out all the time. I get told off from my husband. So if you do want a machine that is easy to sort of pack away, then this is brilliant. Talking you through the features and functions of the 550, as I say, it's got 50 different stitches. It also has on the front all of your lovely things that we love from Elna, so your speed control. You've got that as well. You can have it with or without a foot pedal with your start and stop button. You've got your reversing. You've got your locking stitch. You've got your needle up, down, pivoting. I see these are all great things, but like I say, if you are upgrading from one of those machines, what is it called when they just have a dial to change your stitches? This is still sort of, this is still a computerized machine. So if you are thinking, oh, I'm not very good with all the buttons, don't worry, it will still automatically sort of jump to the correct, the recommended stitch width and stitch length when you choose a stitch. So it's done that for you. You can still move your needle over, of course, if you alter your stitch width or stitch length. It also has a memory. It does also have, does it? No, it doesn't. What does M mean on there? The 560, I'm getting confused, sorry. The 560 has a memory, but it does have your sort of key stitches at the front there. Your straight stitch, it's like your speed dial, isn't it? You've got your straight stitch. You've also got your zigzag. This is like an overcast stitch. So if you don't have an overlocker and you want to finish your edges, that's going to be really, really useful to have. For dressmakers, if you're starting out and you haven't got an overlocker yet, then just use that on your speed dial. You've then also got your buttonhole as well, your buttonhole stitch. You can go through the motion, go through the different stitches using your arrows, and you can alter your stitch width and stitch length using the plus and minus here. You can alter the tension, you can alter all sorts still with it, and it has got the compartment on the front for your bits and bobs. It's got a little case. I don't think you're going to be able to see if I tilt it forward. Has got another case in there. It can also be used for bag making and circular projects. If you're dressmaking, it's got the free arm. So see what I mean? It's still giving you lots for your money. Oh, also, there it is on the front. You can't see it. There we are. It's also got an extension table. Not all machines of this sort of price point come with. It has the 2-year warranty, I believe, with Elna, 2-year warranty with Elna, and your extension table included. So if you did want to if you did want to use a walking foot, you can actually use a walking foot on this. It doesn't come with a walking foot, but it's one that you can then add on as you progress. It comes with really great feet for if you're starting out. So, for example, the 1/4 inch foot. This one's absolutely brilliant for patchwork and quilting. I love that. The open toe satin stitch foot, that's really, really good. The clear toe, so you can see exactly what you're doing. If you want to be inserting zips into your bags or your cushions, you've got your zipper foot. It also has, oh, what's the one with the little brush on it? Debbie, do you know what? I watched Debbie's demo on it and it was brilliant. I don't know whether you've got the list there, Joe, or let's have a look, because I'll be able to do it out of process of elimination. See, what C-foot on this? Everyone's shouting at the television right now, aren't they? But I do know what this is. It kind of brushes. Is it rolled hem? No, hang on. It might be a rolled hem, actually. That's your blind hem and that's your rolled hem, isn't it? Blind hem has got the little guard through the centre for you to line up if you want to turn up some trousers or, do that lovely, neat blind hem, then you do have one of those feet as well. So these are all the ones that come as standard, plus your buttonhole foot as well. You get an extra spool on here. You have extra bobbins. You have your needles to get started, your blue tip needle as well, everything that you need to get started. It's not going to be one of those machines that you come back to me and go, hang on Vic, right, I'm limited by this machine now. I'm limited after it. You're just not going to get to that point. Look at all these different feet to play around with. It's not going to be one of those that you're thinking, right, in quick succession, I'm going to then have to upgrade to the £1,000 machine. It's the only machine that we bring to you under 500 because we're so confident that you're still going to be able to achieve the projects that we are bringing you. Maybe in the future you're thinking, right, actually, I am going to upgrade, but this will still be, this is one that could be then your second machine that's still very useful. It also comes with a nice hard cover. So like me, if I was saying I'm not going to keep it out on the dining room table all the time, you can then put it away and keep it dust and lint free and away from little paws or little fingers and keep it nice and safe if it is something that you're only going to get out on a Sunday. Does your sewing machine upset you sometimes? Sometimes Hannah can't look at the sewing machine. She says, sometimes I just need to put it away. Just need to put it away. If a project's not gone well, it needs the cover to put it away. Go away from me for a bit and I'll bring you out tomorrow. We need to socially distant for a little while. It does also come, as I say, today with 2 meters of fabric worth £13.96, £479. What we wanted to do today was give you choice. If you're starting out, I know a lot of people who are joining us over and have found us over the last few months. And if you are at the point where you're thinking, right, I'm ready to take the leap, I don't want you to be disheartened if you think, well, I can't afford that £1,000 machine. It's not where I am on my journey. It's not where I am in my budget. Then this is something that's brilliant. It's just £479. Now, have a serious think about that because the deal is brilliant, especially with the extra fabric as well. If you have got any questions, same with the 680, please get them into our Facebook, and if we can answer them, we will. If we need to find anything extra out, then we can do as well. Today's early bird was brilliant. So much fun this morning. If you do want to do beautiful rainbow projects, way over half of the early bird is now gone. The only way of getting the fabric markers today is in the early bird. You're not going to be able to get them separately. They're completely maxed out on bundles. So I've just started a little bit of colouring, can you see? But you could do such beautiful, beautiful rainbow designs, whether they go onto the front of quilts, whether they become cushions or placemats or up in your window, whether they are going to be on bags. There's so much that you're going to be able to do. So not only do you get these 3 different panels or these 3 different pictures, you also get, we also thought you could cut this rainbow out and applique that onto a patchwork that's already done, couldn't you? You're then also going to get your fabric markers. So you're getting all of your colours. Now, different to the other fabric markers that we've seen in the past, you don't need an iron, you don't heat it. So after 12 hours, it says to leave it for 12 hours, leave it overnight and come back to it, and then it will be permanent. Then it is washable. It is then washable and you won't lose your markers. I like the idea of colouring in, you know, like some plain tote bags or calico toys if you want to do like a memory Beth or a christening or a birthday or something. Everybody sign it, that would be lovely. Your hats or pumps, clothes, there's loads you can do, but perfect for today's rainbow project. And you get a lovely array of colour. It's today less than £20. It's the only way of getting your pens is in the early bird. What I would recommend, by the way, no, I couldn't find the open bit. Those of you that are maybe multi-buying on the panel because it is available individually, maybe you're getting family involved, doing some colouring, just put, if I were you, I'd put something underneath it just to protect your surface. But get colour in. I find it really therapeutic. I know a lot of people do those adult colouring books, don't they? Well, just heard what I said then. You know, grown-up colouring books. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. Not the top shelf things, no. Or is that the kind of colouring you've been doing, Joe? Joe's Joe said he's found colouring very relaxing. I understand now, maybe. But I like the nib on these as well. Can you see? It's got a really nice chunky nib, but also then a really nice slim point tib. What's it called? Nib? Which Hannah, who has a fine art degree, is telling us is a sign of a great quality nib. Love it. So, please do make the most of your early bird price whilst you can. All of these different colours. Great to get children involved as well. This could definitely be part of your homeschooling. Right, it's craft hour now. Do some colouring in. £18.98. The only way of getting your fabric markers is there today in your early bird special price. If you do want to do or if you want to get extra panels, if you are thinking of doing some placemats or sewing machine mat, loads you can do. You could do a quilt with loads of applique rainbows on top of it, couldn't you? You're thinking unicorns as well? Oh, brilliant. Your unicorn quilt with rainbows as well would be absolutely lovely. So you've got your beautiful panel, your stars, and you're also getting this one, which I love. So you could fussy cut this, couldn't you? I really like that as the front of a tote bag. That'd be really nice on a tote bag. Just £6.99. I have started colouring in. Can you notice I was well within the lines as well? Thank you for noticing. Oh, no, don't zoom in, don't zoom in. Ah, thank you. £6.99. And remember, you don't need to iron it to fix that colour. Just after 12 hours, it will stay there. £6.99. If you do think, oh, do you know, I've gone wrong, I'm not happy with that design, wash it before the 12 hours. Endless fun. Oh, okay. Can you stop going so close, please? Oh, right. I can't guarantee that it will come out. It might just be permanent, but then completely permanent after 12 hours. Then you can wash it. Oh, there's no escape clause. No going back. Be careful with what you're colouring. But £6.99. It's a bit of fun, isn't it? And I suppose the markers are going to be great for banners and bunting and just accessorising. I would be looking around and colouring in Kieran's trainers, and he'd be like, what on earth are you doing? Lampshades and all sorts. Ooh. Oops, sorry. Got a bit carried away with my fabric markers. £6.99. It's a good way of keeping children's drawings as well on fabric, isn't it? Do you know, I've got a bed sheet that needs throwing away. It's got one of those... I'll tell you why. Let me tell you why. You know when you're making the bed and you're pulling it over the corners, it's just ripped down the corners now because I'm pulling it too hard. So... What is going on this hour? Can you imagine what I've got going on in my ear right now? I'm trying to remain professional. So I'm thinking, instead of throwing it away, I could make a big happy birthday banner or cut it up, have a bit of a go with the fabric markers. It's innocent. £6.99. Dearie me, is it getting hot in here or is it just me? Your early bird is now almost sold out. If you're watching on any kind of replay, definitely worth checking availability on those because that is very, very limited now. Right. Aurifil. Oh, I'm so sorry if you missed this. This is it now, less than 15. It's £35.99. Your price per metre is a fantastic. We only launched a few days ago and we got loads of these in. We knew though, we had hundreds of them. We will get it again, of course, but if you do want to be within a chance of getting this right now, Aurifil has become... over the last couple of years, if I'm being brutally honest with you, when I first was introduced to Aurifil, I thought, oh no, it's quite expensive really, isn't it? It's quite expensive. Actually, if you break it down, it's not. If you break it down to see, these are the big spools that have got 1,000 metres on each. Oh, in fact, 1,300 metres on each. So if you work out your price per metre, I'm not going to do it now. Hannah, hint, hint. Have you got your abacus up there? Sorry, she's as bad as me at maths. Don't worry, work it out at home. But the price per metre. So if you times 1,300 times 4, and then divide it by 35.99. What I would do, Hannah, the other way around, I would do 1,300 times 4 and then divide that by 35.99. That's it, times 4. So you've got your black 100% cotton thread. Nothing wrong with polyester, but of course, I know a lot of people that have been asking us to get Aurifil in since we started Sewing Street. A lot of people only use Aurifil. Whether you're using this for your hand piecing, for your EPP, this is handy. Jo, can you help us out, please? Your white, all of your bare necessities, 50 weight, the most universal weight is going to be fantastic. 1,300 metres on each spool, which is 5,200 metres overall. Yeah, that's right. £35.99. Everyone's screaming at the telly, aren't they? Remember, you can take the bottom of the spool off, so if you do struggle to find the end of your thread, it's there. It's always neatly tucked under your spool. Sorry, there's a storm coming. It's making us all feel weird. We feel foggy. Does anybody else get bad sinuses when there's a storm? Because Hannah is sort of getting all foggy behind the eyes, and she's kind of blaming it on everything today. She can't work out anything because I'm foggy behind the eyes. There's a storm coming. I've heard so many times today, there's a storm coming. There's a storm coming. My ears are popping. There's foggy behind my head. She also had, I think it's because you dream as well. She didn't sleep very well last night. She's been dreaming, but I bet you're dreaming because the storm's coming. £35.99. She's very affected by the weather, isn't she? Now she's out in the garden all the time, doing her gardening. Don't ask my producer any questions right now because there's a storm coming. Dearie me. There's less than 15 chances to get the Aurifil necessities. We are going to get more, don't worry, but I don't know how long it's going to take to get more. They're 100% cotton, absolutely beautiful quality. They'll go a long way, and yeah, they are amazing. Absolutely huge advocates of Aurifil. They are world renowned for their thread for a reason. Get them home, try them out, and I don't think you'll look back. Lovely. Hi, Ronnie. Ronnie's messaged in. I have the 680 and I love it. Oh, thank you for messaging in. With a cat emoji with lovely heart eyes. Just used the rolled hemfoot for the first time and I'm in love. Right, you can tell us then. Oh no, the rolled hemfoot, is that the one with the little brush on? Is it? Ronnie? Is it the one? Remember the weather change, I can't ask my producer, but Ronnie, hopefully the weather change isn't affecting you, so you'll be able to answer my question, Ronnie. I think there's a storm coming. Right. Spare bobbins, always useful, especially when, you know, if you're doing a big project and you want to make sure that all of your white bobbins, all your black bobbins, they're just there. These are your Janome bobbins. Now, I know it's sort of different opinions. I was told by Kat that she was told off when she was working. She does a lot of sewing with a theatre work that she was doing. And she said she was told off by putting a different make of bobbin in a different machine because she said it could mess up your machine a bit. But then somebody told me, no, they're universal. You can use any. I would match it up with the brand just to be safe. Lots of people do. Just so you know, Janome and Elna, Janome, under the same umbrella. So if you've got an Elna or Janome machine, absolutely make the most of these. Who says that though, Joe? Potato? Potato or potato? No. Tomato, potato, potato. I don't know anybody that says potato. Do you? I don't know anybody that says no. Potato. Please message in if you pronounce it potato, because that saying's always really annoyed me. I think we're all affected by the storm today, aren't we? Right, I'm using that as my excuse today. If our management watch and say, "What on earth are you on about? Talking about your bed sheets? You ruined. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Sorry. Oh, it's the weather. It's the weather. It's the change in the weather." Right, back to the bobbins. £8 for you today. Thanks for keeping me company today. I'm presuming everyone's still with us. Okay. Rainbow bundle, you're beautiful. Oh, we need the red back in this, actually. We've got the yellow, we've got the pink. Hang on. You put this out. You put this in order. You didn't. So I told Kat off for it last time. So I said, well, I didn't tell her off. I just said, your brother puts them in rainbow order, red and yellow and pink and green, orange, purple and blue. That's gorgeous, isn't it? Maybe if you are doing a plique with your panel, these would be really lovely to even just have as a border around your cushion, or if you want to do your patchwork and then a plique onto it. Loads that you're going to be able to do, and all beautiful 1/2 metre, 100% cotton free cuts. £23.99. If you are into your solid colours, maybe you want to do some quilting over the top. It'd look lovely. Yesterday's show, I know that John gave us lots of great ideas with solid fabrics. If you want to watch the show back, it will be repeated at 11 o'clock today after this show. £23.99. There's lots of other bundles as well, which will look lovely with this. What's that, sorry? Is she watching? Hi, Kat. Thank you. She says, I knew that I would notice if I did it in that order. She had to, because it was me. Kat, have you been affected by the storm today? Well, that's the most elaborate producer excuse I've ever heard. Hannah is literally the change of weather. There isn't a storm outside. It's actually quite sunny at the moment. But it's coming. Hannah's saying it's coming. Gosh, you're going to be one of these sort of, yeah, like Mystic Meg. That's what I was going to say. You're going to become like one of these people that don't go out, there's a storm, get under the table. Animals start acting differently because she's spending time in the garden more. She's noticing the change in the weather. Okay, Kat also had strange dream last night. I think it's because we're probably staying up a bit later than we normally do, watching lots more telly than we normally would, eating different foods, potentially, cheese before bed. £23.99 she did. She had cheese on toast before bed. That's what it is. That's what it is. They're lovely quality. And if you use them all together in a rainbow design, or whether they're just stash builders, or did you see mine and Hannah's show about backing quilts? This would be really, really lovely, even if you were to take a couple of these different colours, mix it in with some of the fabrics that are in the front of your quilt. See, something like this would be really lovely to then back it, wouldn't it, with the lovely rainbow colours. Even if you were to just do big squares and a rectangle, you don't need to necessarily do something as impressive as this piecing on the front. But let's face it, John Cole Morgan, you are going to have to think about what you're going to do with the back of it, because it's not finished. Earlier on at 8 o'clock, I did say, he did it in 10 hours. It's not finished though. And I realised it sounded like I was being really like backhanded compliment. And it wasn't. It was just because I thought everybody will be thinking, oh my word, 10 hours. It's taken me weeks. But he's obviously done that speedily. It's not a race, to get it on air for us. It looks gorgeous. But yeah, it's not finished really, is it? It looked great with these backings, John. And get Sylvia to do your binding. The only reason I could do this is because he's my friend. I'm only pulling his leg. £23.99. 3.5 metres. £23.99. Oh dear. I'm not going to be able to go on my walk then today, am I, if it's going to be stormy? Oh. I wish. Okay, shall we do the 100 embroidery skeins? This was one of the best deals today. Oh, it was brilliant. Look at all this. All of of these skeins, 100 different colours, your neutrals, your rainbows, your pinks, your greens, even if, right, at 14 pence a skein, you're thinking, don't know if I use all those colours, but I do know I've got a project that's coming up that I wanted to use lots of greens. Look at these. Look at the amount, I'm just picking out just the greens. Cactuses, English country gardens. Maybe you make cards. Maybe you want to do little embroidery and cards, greetings cards. Look, that is just all of your greens. You've got so many greens there. If you want to say, right, okay, do you know what? I want to incorporate some yellows into it as well, into my flowers. And I want to do, I mean, do you know the one on our beehive, beehive? If you want to use something like this on the front of a greetings card, it would look nice, wouldn't it? That'd look lovely, and you could pick out some of the colours that you would need using this. It's 14 pence a skein. You get 8 metres on each skein. It's just going to go a long way, isn't it? It is going to be brilliant for embellishing. If you want to pick out the right colour, maybe if you're doing faces on dolls or hair on dolls, you could make a whole family, couldn't you? £14.99 for 100 of your stranded cotton skeins. That's going to go an awfully long way. Excited to see your projects with these. Even if you're not necessarily classing yourself as somebody that does embroidery, just embellishing. I mean, even if they just stay in your stash. Oh, remember the secret box? A storm is coming. Okay. I got into, well, actually, no, nothing to do with me. Hannah, I'm letting you, it's the weather. The weather made her do it, the storm told her to go onto the web shop and have a look. Lots of people are messaging and saying it's really sunny. You're not helping with our excuse of us doing this. So, if you go onto our web shops, www.sewingstreet.com, just in the search bar there, type in embroidery, Joe, please. Click there and scroll down. Keep scrolling. Keep scrolling. There. It says early bird special. It wasn't today's early bird. You can still get it at the early bird price. It will be taken off the web shop very soon. They will all sell out today. If you want it, especially with the skeins, 100 skeins, you get 100 cards with this. Let me show you. So inside your box, oh, forgot, you also get an extra 10 DMC random skeins, random colours. But also you get 100 of these little cards, which are great to then wrap round to keep them all in order. Keep them all in order. Keep them all, you could do them in rainbow order. All your greens together, all your reds together, all your blues together. But you get 100, so enough for all of your skeins that you had. And can't bring the graphics live for it, but it's £6.99. We're not meant to. So I just thought I'd let you know about that. Oh, Hannah's now getting really carried away with this. She's looking into it and she said it's atmospheric pressure that's affecting her sinuses. You can take this home with you today. Has been loads of fun, I must say, today. Oh dear. She's all right though, she's all right. You'll be okay tomorrow, won't you? You'll be okay tomorrow. She's all right, I just can't answer any questions all day today. Hello, I've got jewellery maker waving at me through the door going, come on, I need to jump over to our jewellery maker sister channel now. I will be on air in literally a few minutes. But first, let me tell you what's coming up tomorrow's show. Who's on tomorrow? Debbie. Oh, right. Whatever you do, do not miss tomorrow's show. It's going to be brilliant. 8 o'clock, fabrics. Oh, there's a Facebook Live also later on. What time? Bit later. She's just text saying, are you watching, Hannah? A book on her, come on, hang on. She's going to talk about her book, which will be launching on Monday here exclusively on Sewing Street, which is very, very exciting. She's going to be talking about it on Facebook Live at 11. So Debbie's going to be joining you tomorrow. I didn't see what else she had, but there you go. The organza plique cushion with another new guest. We are spoiling you rotten. We've got a lovely new guest, Alison Marion, coming up at 9 o'clock. Oh, she's not a new guest. She's already been on. You've met her already. I've not met her. Obviously, none of us have. She's new to all of us, but I know that she did the shirt for John very kindly. Alison, I'm getting a bit jealous. Can I have something made for me? And Joe gets annoyed because Debbie makes Joe lots of goodies. And he keeps them in a little box over there. Always brings them out. And also the Elna 820. If you want to do some embroidery, wow, that machine is incredible. That's coming up at 10 o'clock. It's been a day, hasn't it? It's the weather. If anything goes wrong today, let's just blame it on the weatherman. Blame it on Hannah. And the what, sorry? Biometric? She's like, I don't know these words. There's something going on right now and it's affecting me. Don't forget to watch Debbie's YouTube, her Facebook Live at 11 o'clock. And she's going to be talking about a book which is launching. Here, it's 11 o'clock now. Get onto Facebook. You can go. Or stay with us and you can watch yesterday's show. I will see you very, very soon. Thanks for your company today. Enjoy the rest of your day. See you soon.